Welcome to Sikkim 365 Radio, live from Railhead Smokehouse in Fort Worth.
John Wachachua comes up empty, but Flagler picks it up.
Our coverage of the NCAA tournament is brought to you by Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, Automatic Chef and Canteen, Edward Jones Investments, IdealMRI.com, Marco's Pizza, The Nichi Group, Pioneer Steel and Pipe, Southwest Sports Medicine, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, Waco Custom Marketplace, and the Willis Law Firm.
Pryor from the corner, and it rattles home!
Wow! Little kiddo, baby!
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
Well, good afternoon. We are at Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue in Fort Worth, and less than a mile from Dickey's Arena, which is just around the corner. In fact, not even around the corner. It's straight down Montgomery Street here in Fort Worth. And thanks again to Charlie Guerin, to Gilbert, the great staff here at Railhouse Smokehouse Barbecue. The chat room's going on YouTube. We'll have number in just a second. The text line's available, 254-339-1122, as Baylor is polishing off their win, as they should, in dominant fashion against Norfolk State, 76-47. Yes, we can pick and choose a couple of things, but Jeremy Sohan, Matthew Meyer, Flo Thamba, they all have looked good. And they are going to advance into the next round against Marquette or North Carolina. We were at the game. We left at halftime. We're here. Craig Smoak to my right. Paul Catalina, just like we are on set, to my left. And Armstrong Sims runs the mothership. Jack McKenzie is at the arena. We will have postgame and hear from a player here at some point, as the game still has 2:48 left and Baylor is leading right now 76-47, 78-47 right now. We'll have the other scores. We'll update the other games going on right now, but we want to hear from you on the chat room as well. And if you want your thoughts with the phone calls, 254-339-1122. Paul, Craig, they've done what they're supposed to do. 27-10 at one point. They had a couple of things. You wondered if they were going to call the game too tight, a lot of ticky-tack calls, but eventually they blow this thing open.
Yeah, and it hasn't been that way in the second half. They only called 4 fouls on Baylor early on. They got their new NCAA whistles, and they were using them. They were using them well. I would like to point out, Smokey, and I need you to admit this to the general viewing public. Who did I tell you was going to be the leading scorer today?
2 things. You said Matthew Meyer, but you also said he was going to score 45 points.
Yeah, they haven't needed him to, but he scored 22, and he's the leading scorer for Baylor as it stands right now. And Jeremy Sohan was have to score 7 to equal him in the last few minutes. I just want to brag about prediction when I do, but we've seen what we thought we'd see, and the real test is going to come between the winner of Marquette and North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to do, like you guys have said. I mean, winning by 33 points right now. So that's all you can ask for is a layup type of a first-round win. And they got one today, or about to have one polished off here. And I agree. I'm glad that the officiating loosened up a little bit in the second half, because that was just a bad start. I mean, whistles flying right out of the gates, and I know for me, I even turned to you, I was like, Is this supposed to be exciting? Like, this first round NCAA tournament game, and I turned to you guys like halfway through the first half and was like, is this supposed to be exciting? All these, because it wasn't. So I'm glad that they've been able to free it up and loosen it up a little bit. Nobody's tuning in to watch officials, that's for sure. But yeah, Baylor's done their job. Kudos to Matthew Meyer, and everybody on the team's got a bucket today except for Zach Loveday. He's the only one that hasn't scored just yet. So maybe they can get him one in the last 140 and get everybody a bucket in an NCAA tournament. But it has been cool to see them being able to empty their bench and get everybody involved and get an opportunity to say, hey, I played in the NCAA tournament. So I think it's pretty cool.
And Zach Loveday's on the line right now, so we'll see how that goes. I just realized this. This is the first time the three of us in all this time of working together have been able to cover a men's game all at the same time.
Yeah, because last year was the shutdown.
Yeah.
I was in Indianapolis throughout the last 2 weekends, and then the year before that, there was no tournament. So, again, we're on camera. We love that those of you have already popped on the YouTube channel. We appreciate that. And thanks again to Charlie Guerin, the owner of Smokehouse, Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue. You cannot imagine how efficient it is, and how where we are compared to the arena. I mean, seriously, it's just fantastic. And Jordan Turner just hit a long 3, got a little nice roll off the rim. It's now 84-47 Baylor with just over a minute left. Earlier today, Michigan beat Colorado State. There were thoughts that maybe Michigan shouldn't be in the tournament. I saw a stat earlier this week about teams that kind of get shamed a little bit and how good they are, their record. A 75-63 win. Providence, another team a lot of people thought with South Dakota State would move right through them. 66-57, Providence, the number 4 seed. They win. We'll update the other games going on here momentarily. But the good news about today is they took care of business. They handled their business. They took care of business. They're up by a bunch at halftime, 16, and they blow it open. A lot of people get to play, and believe me, that's going to help because this team's bench is not deep, and they will be pushed much more, as you can imagine, in what is the next game between Marquette and North Carolina. So we will have some of the post game. We will also have a player on. It's going to be a while, but we will do that. But we want to hear from you as well. And if you call, get in. Tell us what you think, even though I know the game's not over, and who you thought or what you thought were the biggest differences other than Baylor doing what they should do. Scotty B, not only that we needed this bounce-back win, glad to see the backups in. Richmond pushing Iowa, giving Iowa a hell of a fight from Chris. And Chris also, I know the competition isn't stellar, but Tennessee looks strong. They're hammering Longwood with 54 points they've scored at halftime. Scotty B, I hope Marquette and North Carolina go overtime. Obviously, with that game as well. There's a picture of Homer Drew on the site, on the game broadcast on as well on TBS.
Also, soon to be international superstar Karen Craig. Once the
Ode to Joy gets out there among it all. Bob Williams popped on. Dang, I'm early. I'm going to be back a little bit later on. We have some. I know that in the back, there's when you walk in the door, you go off to the left, you get in line, you order your barbecue, your ribs, your brisket, whatever you want, sausage, anything you want. And then there's a bar that's over there, and a lot of people watching the games at the bar. And then you walk in, and there's another section, and then you see the one behind us. And we have had, I got to tell you, throughout the week, a lot of people who have said that as soon as the game is over, they're going to come down here, and we hope you do, and we hope to be able to get you on. We are going to have a wireless mic for you if you want to walk up
it's wired, but
a wired mic to say what you want and give us your opinion, your feedback on the game itself. Flo Thamba's parents were at the game today. First time they've watched him play in person. How cool is that in the college level? That's amazing. That's an incredible story, and he's had a nice game. He's in double figures. Was last time I looked, he had 12, I think 14 points, so that's good as well, down to the last minute. And hey, by the way, Norfolk State, early on, they've had a couple of moments as well. They've won 24 games for the second consecutive year, and they, again, are in their second NCAA appearance. And so I like that there was nothing trashy. There was no chippy stuff. It was just a good basketball game with the better team, more talented team, winning the game on their way to winning this game here momentarily.
Yeah, it was a good game. Baylor got to do pretty much everything they wanted to do and get everybody in, which is, I think, probably the goal of this first game. It's going to be different, though. They can't, I don't want to say they played a little looser in the first half because they got in foul trouble. If they get in the same kind of foul trouble they got in the first half again on Saturday, that's going to be a problem. Adam Flagler was out of the game,
like 3 minutes into the game
because of two tight fouls, and if they're going to call it that way on Saturday, that's going to be a problem. They need Flagler for as many minutes as they can get Flagler out of. I mean, they've got to have him down the stretch. And when you've seen the games that Baylor has lost this year, there's one of two things that happens quite often: either Flagler is shut out or Akinjo is shut out, or at least shut down to a point. And if either one of those guys is shut down, it's going to be a problem for them to get back to the Final Four like they were in last year.
Well, because of those who can shoot the three and the ones you depend on. Akinjo and Flagler, 6 of 12 today. Flagler and Akinjo, 4 of 10 outside the arc, but Meyer 4 of 7, 11 for 27 as a team. Sohan 2 for 4, and that is a good sign as they move into the next round against Marquette or North Carolina. Dickey's Arena, by the way, is fantastic. It's not a really large place. It's a multi-facility. They have the livestock and all of that, those type of shows. Baylor wins at 85-49. That is a final. They did what they had to do to move into the second round. But it's gorgeous. It's got a lot of concourse underneath. You don't even get to see it. Great treatment. We appreciate Mark Cohen, who is TCU's media relations director. He was the guy that kind of runs the show from TCU as they host it. And it's a really nice, cozy place. It really, really is. And so we look forward to getting back there on Saturday, no matter. And we don't know the time, but no matter who they play, North Carolina and Marquette will tip here in about 20 minutes or so.
I will state again, the policy is you cannot put anonymous on the phone calls, or I will have to drop you.
No, we don't, and it's not because of our system from here, is it?
No.
Okay.
It's not.
The number, again, 254-339-1122. There's some NFL notes we'll get to involving the Cowboys, the Browns, Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, not maybe what the information on him yet, Cole Beasley, and an update on Brittany Griner and her detention in Russia that's been extended now for a couple of more months. We'll have that for you as well. Baylor 85-49, that is a final. And Matthew Meyer led the way with 22, 14 from Thamba, 15 Sohan, also in double figures, Flagler and Akinjo 11 and 10. And Baylor again they emptied the bench with whatever they have. And it's even great to see as well that Austin Sachs got the chance to play. The young man from Encino, California, entered the game, the sophomore. So they emptied everything, whatever they have on the bench. One of the known moments about the game, I saw Jonathan Chama-Chachua, who's behind the bench because he's had that gruesome knee injury. And you just sit there and you watch him, and he still has this happiness on his face, but you just wonder where they would be, not to get into the injuries, but just you feel for the guy, because feel for him because of how much he loved to play the game.
Yeah, and look, obviously this team is completely different rotationally if he's there because of what he can do and the kind of different things. Flo Thamba has a different job if he's there. Although, looking down the line, if Flo Thamba can use his COVID year and come back, and Jonathan Chama-Chachua can overcome this knee injury, you're looking down the line to next year, that's a very formidable duo to have now that Flo Thamba's kind of realized the full breadth of his superpowers. and is playing really, really well. So that's optimistic down the line. But yeah, you'd really feel for Jonathan Chapman because he is the Energizer Bunny of this team. And you can't just replace that with want to. It's just something you have, and they've been able to overcome it so far. But yeah, it changes the team completely.
Yeah, well, you guys saw. Norfolk State getting a lot underneath. And that was a little bit of a concern, I think, when you're moving into the next round, and you're going to be facing teams that have got much more talented overall bigs, most likely, and some teams you may run into, they got a couple, and I think that the lack of a JTT. Flo Thomba's going to do all he can do, and everybody's going to do all they can do. But, he's a guy you wish you had, obviously. We'll see if that doesn't, become maybe one of those areas of concern or an issue as the tournament moves along. But, yeah, I thought Norfolk State was getting some pretty easy baskets and putbacks that they're going to have to clean up because if they do that against North Carolina or Marquette, that could be much more costly.
Games that are going on in progress. Tennessee is crushing Longwood. That's a 3 against a 14, 67-36, 14 minutes left in that one. Iowa-Richmond, halftime. The Spiders, 29-28 against a team in Iowa that was putting up a lot of points in the Big Ten tournament and winning against everybody. Memphis beats Boise State. That was a game you wondered about. Memphis and Penny Hardaway, 64-53. That game has just gone final. I mentioned Providence won and also Michigan won. And now the second wave of games about to start, including the overall number 1 top seed Gonzaga will tip off here in the next 15 minutes, along with that North Carolina game with Marquette. 254-339-1122. 254-339-1122 again is the number to call. There's a great, as you would expect, a very nice contingent of Baylor fans. You can see the North Carolina blue. You can see their baby blue. You can also see Marquette with the colors that look like Notre Dame at times that were there as well, and Kansas.
Yes,
KU fans are there, as you would expect as well. And what I love about an NCAA tournament is that it's not just you're going to watch Baylor and Norfolk State or Kansas against. You're watching. The people are there to watch every game, all sessions, 1 and 2, 2 games early, and then 2 more games tonight.
Yeah, it's a cool event. I love going when we get the chance to go. The last time I was there was Salt Lake City in 2019, and I watched every game until the very last one because Baylor had lost to Gonzaga, and by the time we were done with postgame, the last one was nearly over, so I might as well have gone back to the hotel. But, yeah, I the first day especially, I just sat up in my spot and watched 4 fantastic. Well, some of them weren't fantastic. I think Kansas beat whoever they were playing that day by 71 or something like that. It was ridiculous. But 4 basketball games is a great event. If you get a chance to go, and look, if you're not doing anything this weekend and want to buy tickets to come up to Fort Worth, I highly suggest it. You're going to get, 2 good games on Saturday.
From at retired sports retired writer, you can almost hear Baylor. The loud sigh of relief. Finally, we're not playing a Big 12 brass-knuckle defensive game. I think all 6 teams, and they're not the only conference, but that conference, the way they play, they all probably get a relief a little bit. You think that they get away from that. Now, we said early that there was kind of a little bit too much ticky-tack as they were trying to get used to each other, vice versa, the officials, the game, the style. But there's no question it's a different game. And some might not get that kind of, maybe eventually everybody settles in, and it could cost some teams early on. 254-339-1122 calls for Paul Craig. I'm David Smoak and Sikkim 365 Radio.
All right, let's go to Nathan from Nacogdoches. You are on Sikkim 365 Radio. Hold on, I can't. Armstrong, can you try and take this call? It's not letting me do it. I'm trying.
We're live at Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue in Fort Worth on Montgomery Street and just down the road from Dickey's Arena. So if you're on your way out of the game, on your way out of the arena, if you came here to Fort Worth for the game, we'll be here tonight until 6 o'clock here on Sikkim 365 Radio and also 365 Sports. Do you want to take a break right here?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Take a break right here. For those of you on hold, we'll see what's going on with the system. We are on the road. Again, Memphis, that game just finished 64-53. Memphis took care of their business against Boise State. This is Sikkim 365 Radio.
Baylor University is where lights shine bright. So, let there be light. Let there be roommates and teammates, scholarship and championships. Let there be fresh starts and new traditions, fast friendships and lasting impacts. Let there be laughter. Let there be joy. Let there be light. Baylor University, where lights shine bright.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel & Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel & Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel & Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
It was broad daylight. I stepped into a gas station for 5 minutes to grab a snack, and just like that, my car was broken into. They made out like a bandit. My laptop, my phone, everything. I called my agent to see what could be done, and he restored my faith in humanity. My claim was processed so quickly, and I was able to recover my losses.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Did you know that Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness is a partner of the City of Waco? Did you know that we are open to the public? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness offers day passes to the public for only $10 a day, and we offer money-saving memberships. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness offers over 40 group exercise classes each week, including bar, yoga, boot camp, indoor cycling, and more. There are free weights, weight machines, TRX, rowing machines, stationary bikes, new treadmills, elliptical machines, and much more on the spacious weight room floor. Personal training available where you can be encouraged to grow. Sauna, whirlpool, tanning bed and kids club, 17 tennis courts, 8 pickleball courts, youth and adult tennis and pickleball lessons. Waco's premier experience where you can help your mind, body, and soul. Visit our website at wacotennis.com. Call us at 254-753-7675 or visit us next to Hawaiian Falls on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
Cars priced right both day and night. At Richard Car in Texas. Trucks built for you, red, white, and blue. At Richard Car in Texas. Cars that zoom with lots of room. At Richard Car in Texas. Count on us, a dealer to trust. At Richard Car in Waco, Texas.
Welcome back to Sikkim 365 Radio. Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel? Search 365 Sports on YouTube.
Back at Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue, Montgomery Street. 0.8 miles from Dickey's Arena where Baylor polished off Norfolk State as they should. As we mentioned just a minute ago, that game final 85-49. We hope to be able to have a Baylor player available here in the next few minutes. We'll take you until 6. Also, Chuck Cooperstein, voice of the Mavericks. They had a great win against the Nets last night with Dinwiddie with another game-winning shot. Luka was Luka. He'll join us. He's been at the games in Fort Worth, and we'll have Chuck on today as well. But mainly, hearing from you, your thoughts, 254-339-1122.
All right, let's go to Tim in Wichita Falls. Tim, you're on Sikkim 365 Radio. Thanks for your call.
Thank you for taking the call. How are you gentlemen doing?
We're fantastic.
Doing well.
Good. So, just there were a lot of guys on the forum that were talking about how are we going to show up, are we going to be rusty, nervous, whatever. I'm so proud of the way the guys started from the get-go and really took it to them. and didn't let up. And as you all mentioned just a few minutes ago, how refreshing it was to not be playing Texas Tech or Kansas. It was just so great for the team to do what they were able to do today.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was refreshing. It was kind of everything's a scratch and claw and push and shove, and because you get to know each other. Plus, everybody's good, and it's nice and refreshing to be able to get out and run and do some things and kind of maybe get your flow back. Who knows? Or literally flow with Thamba, but also the groove that you're in.
Well, look, I think this could be huge for Matthew Meyer, a guy who hasn't scored. I mean, he hasn't scored 22 points in how long? All year, maybe. I mean, it's probably a season high. So if they can get massive points out of him down the stretch in the tournament, that's going to only be better for them going forward. So if he's confident shooting, he's averaged 9 points a game this year and scored 22 today. So now, granted, a lot of that's Norfolk State. He's probably not going to do that against Marquette or North Carolina or, Purdue, Kentucky, whoever they might play, on down the line, UCLA, who knows. But if he can give them 15 instead of 9, that's huge for this Baylor team that plays really good defense. And, again, not like you said, Smokey, not being in the Big 12 and just everything is a knife fight in that league and, getting out and getting to relax a little bit. You see how, look, the last, not just 2 years, but the last 3 or 4 years, this team in non-conference against really good Ken Pom non-conference teams has been fantastic. They haven't lost many non-conference games, so this is kind of more of their specialty than the Big 12.
Yeah, I think Paul kind of covered it there, but yeah, it's nice to not have a Dallas Cowboys game that you're watching where it's always clench your teeth and your heart's racing and no leads ever safe or no game's ever a wide enough margin to be able to kind of take a sigh or take a deep breath. Today you could. Today you weren't necessarily over at halftime, but pretty much. I think pretty early in the second half they put it away and obviously there was nothing to really worry about the last 10 minutes or so. So, there's some teams that are playing right now or going to be playing coming up here shortly that, are going to be in dogfights. Some teams already got sent home. And for Baylor, they won easily and they're on to the next round. And we know it's not going to be as easy in this next round. But, hey, they got past the first one. Got 5 more potentially to go to match last year. And it's a grind. But that first one's out of the way, and that's what I think you need to just focus on and be happy with for these next couple of days because you don't know when the season's going to end. It could be coming up on Saturday for all we know. So glad they got this first one done.
Here are a couple of chat room comments and then back to the phone calls from Mark. You guys looking good at Railhead. Sick'em. Thank you, Mark. Also from Steven. Snook, our friend in Ohio, looks like a great setting to do a show. Yes, it is. We appreciate it. Chris, I'm jealous. Texas barbecue is like comfort food. You always feel good after eating it, and you want to take a nap as well. And the food here, of course, has been rated well, great for such a long time. Joseph Shaw, bracket looks good so far. And Scotty B, it's a season high for Matthew Meyer for sure. And then Michael Arwood, give me I'm not sure what he means by that, like one of those looks. Are you watching us, Michael? We're live at Railhead in Fort Worth, Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue. Back to the calls.
Yeah, by the way, my bracket already has some red on it. Colorado State and Memphis.
South Dakota State might have gotten me. I might have fallen for that. And Providence was pissed, and they played pissed.
Here's what I did. I have affection for Jeremiah Dickey. I picked Boise State out of my affection for him, their athletic director. And then Colorado State, I think I picked out of spite because I thought maybe Michigan should have been bounced. But
you know who knew that? Michigan.
Michigan did.
You know who heard South Dakota State all week? Providence.
Yeah.
254-339-1122 to the chat room or the text line on this one. What a game from the 210 by Meyer. All around great game. Love to see Loveday, and Turner getting some minutes and scoring. Sick'em, baby. That's from the 210.
Yeah. Let's go to Chris in Missouri. He's calling about Lyle Collins' release from the Cowboys. Chris, thanks for your call.
Hey, guys. Hey, I'm really pulling for Richmond. I hope that they pull off the upset against Iowa. But overall topic, I was wondering what you guys thought about the Lyle Collins release from the Cowboys. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things, Chris, that they had to do. The thing that's driving Cowboys fans insane is that, they've created the 7th most amount of cap room in the league. And what have they done with it so far? Nothing.
No.
They've not done anything with it. So nobody can really see what the big picture is with the Cowboys. They lost it on Von Miller, even though reportedly they maybe were never really in on Von Miller.
Well, I saw where Newey Scruggs, who works up in the market here at Channel 5 in Dallas, reported he was told that nobody ever even came in with an offer. That's what he was being told on Lyle Collins. And so that would be surprising that you don't even get that. But, Craig, they had all this. They made room. That's what the Randy Gregory, they did things to be able to re-sign him, to do things to help Demarcus Lawrence stay and then give him what he wanted, and both teams went out of that. And here they are. You look up, and what have they done? What have they done?
They re-signed Demarcus Lawrence. They re-signed Michael Gallup. They got rid of Amari Cooper to free up. I mean, they've actually done quite a bit. It's just not what people want to see them do. Yeah. People want to see them go sign free agents. They're jealous that the Rams and all these other teams are stacking up names, and they're not getting any. Where are our names? Where are our star players? That's what everybody's reacting to. Demarcus Lawrence, that was just 2 days ago. That's already in the past. But that was big, was it not? Demarcus Lawrence coming back? Nobody thought he was coming back.
Yeah, there was thoughts that I never thought he would not be back but I thought that if he was back, then Randy Gregory wouldn't. I thought it one of the two. I didn't think they'd be able to keep both, and they almost lost both, but they did lose Randy Gregory. But great point on Demarcus Lawrence, yes.
Well, yeah, and Michael Gallup. I mean, you basically promoted him to being your sturdy, steady number 2 receiver, with the thoughts that CeeDee Lamb will eventually, I guess, grow into that number 1 guy. But having said that, yeah, there's been a lot of other misses. Obviously, there's been some guys that have signed over the last couple of days that you thought could be Cowboys targets with the way the roster was kind of shaken out, and those guys are pretty much all signed now. I mean, all those defensive line guys we were talking about the other day, they've all signed pretty much for the most part at this stage as of yesterday. Von Miller's off the board, and that was a big one that a lot of Cowboys fans were clamoring for. So, yeah, I mean, I'm guessing they're just going to say that they're focusing on the draft, and that's how they'll go about replacing most of these guys. And I'm sure there'll be some more signings. They just won't be the ones that make your eyes pop out of your head with excitement. But you know what? They've done that for years and years and years, and it's amounted to the same thing anyway. So what's wrong with maybe doing something a little bit more on the slide?
Why not jump off the diving board? Why not go ahead and do a double flip or something?
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't understand is look, I'm totally fine with you saving salary cap money, investing in the draft. Not one of the things that they used to do is they used to let's fall in love with Sam Hurd and give him a 4-year deal, or whatever. We're gonna cut Terrell Owens. I mean, I remember seeing that. They cut Terrell Owens, and then Jerry Jones and tells Sam Hurd, hey, you got to step up. He's all excited. There's a drop off, Jer. Just a touch of one. And so there's all these things that they've done over the years that don't make any sense. And I do agree with this philosophy for the most part. But when you have an opportunity, and if you look at the teams who do what the Cowboys do, they sit back and they wait and they wait and they wait. When they have an opportunity, they take it. The Cowboys just haven't taken the opportunity, and maybe that's why. I mean, you don't think a guy like Bobby Wagner could help them right now? I mean, he could.
Yeah, but now you don't make a move just to settle your fan base down. You still have to stay within. But, yeah, you almost seemed like you got to try to recover in some way to calm the waters.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to appease your fan base, I mean, if they feel like, and look, I agree that they've been far too quiet, and I thought they would be far more active. But, like you said, you're not making moves to appease the fan base. They've done a bunch of those, and, all for naught, quite frankly, really. But, I am very curious to see what kind of the strategy is, because the thing that stands out to me is, this Zeke window we were talking about a few years ago that was a decade long, this offensive line window that we were talking about a few years ago, already closed, window's broken. Half the people already went out through the broken window and are no longer even there as of today, with now Lyle Collins being gone. So that offensive line that was all built up lasted 3-4 seasons, but never put him over the top. Zeke's not looking like he's going to be getting better and better as his career goes along. And then Dak, he's going to be around for a while. Zeke probably will be too, but, they're basically kind of restarting everything around those guys now. not totally, but it kind of feels that way when they are sort of sitting on their hands and you're watching the Rams fresh off a Super Bowl, like, oh, we lost Von Miller, let's go get this guy. And they're, being as proactive as possible.
Well, let's go get Von Miller.
Let's go get Von Miller. And that's got to be disappointing because what was it, before Brady came back, Cowboys are like the number 2 or number 3 team. Now you're looking like, are they a playoff team next year?
The Rams are still good. The Packers get Rodgers. Tampa Bay has Brady back, and they're going to reload now.
If you're and we'll get to you in a second there, Howard, but if you're looking at the Bills, okay, what was the Bills' problem last year? Why are the Bills not in the Super Bowl? Because in the moment that they needed to, they could not get their hands on Patrick Mahomes, right? Mm-hmm. So what do? Go get a guy who's put his hands on Patrick Mahomes a lot, and that's Von Miller. Yep. The Cowboys, that's the one thing I think that they haven't done. They always have this major deficiency that seems to kind of hold them back constantly. And then when they have the opportunity to go, what's the one thing that's holding us back? They don't stamp it.
Okay, here's what they have wasted. They wasted 10 or 12 years of Romo. Mm-hmm. And they had that year in 07 with T.O. and Barber and Felix Jones that was so good. Then I think, my opinion, you guys can talk about Zeke and everyone else, they had 2 or 3, maybe 4 guys that were at least all-pro, Pro Bowl level offensive linemen, and 1 or 2 of them, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, who are Hall of Famers. Yeah. What have they done with that? Nothing. And then on top of that, they did have the alpha dog running back. And then they had the quarterback that they hit on, like Seattle did with Russell Wilson. And they did flirt with it, but again, and I don't know.
Do you remember the feeling when Zeke first got started?
Oh, yeah, that this was going to be
and then Dak was paired up as well, and you started thinking about the receivers they had, and that feeling's gone now. I mean, you still got Dak and Zeke, but for the most part, like all the other pieces that you had in place to protect those guys has either shifted or is gone or whatever. And so, they go into this draft, and that's the other thing is now how many positions are you having to address with your picks?
Yeah.
You're not really afforded a luxury pick of where you're so well set up that you don't have to worry about going and drafting a couple of offensive linemen. You just get to put more cherries on top of your sundae, but now you're missing half the sundae. You got to go get some ice cream. You got to get half a banana. So they're not. It's not dire by any means. They're still probably a playoff team in most everybody's eyes.
Well, because the division's such a wreck.
Yeah, the division stinks, but I mean, they are still considered that, I would think, even with the departures. But yeah, it is one of those that's you're just sitting there with envy, looking out the window, looking at the other kids who are outside playing with all their new toys, and you're just sitting there playing with your same old toy that you're kind of bored with at this point. And maybe not bored with is the right one, but there's an excitement level missing this free agency period for Dallas, no doubt.
All right, we are now joined by Baylor guard Adam Flagler. Baylor took care of their business in advance with a win against Norfolk State, 85-49. Adam 4 for 7 from the field, scored 11 points, and again, Baylor had 5 players in double figures, and they opened the tournament with a win, and now they'll get Marquette or North Carolina. Adam, thanks for your time. Craig, Paul, and David Smoak, we appreciate your time. What was it like just to get back on the court, refresh, reset, and play someone other than someone that's seen you so much throughout the Big 12?
It felt great, to be honest. We had a long break, in our opinion, of sitting out after we lost that last game, so we were real excited to go back out there and March Madness with the fans and everything. We had a great turnout, so I appreciate all the fans for that too.
Adam, you guys did a nice job to adjusting to some quick fouls on you early in the first half. Is that something that's built up over these last few weeks of having a shorter rotation, having to deal with the fact that sometimes you might have to go to the bench early and people have to step up and fill in new roles?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a big adjustment, having guys out and having to adjust to, the rest, call a certain thing. It's just us having a, 7-8 man rotation. So at the end of the day, a lot of maturity comes out of just learning how to play together, learning, when to kind of push back and when to apply pressure, with our team. So.
There's obviously still some games to play, at least one more for sure coming up on Saturday, but is there a little bit of a sense of, just minor relief on your part just to have that first one under your belts?
Yeah, it's a little relief, because we always want to, focus on, the game at hand, because at the end of the day, we just need to go home. So, it's a sense of relief, but, it's definitely a restart, reset, and we're excited to, take on whoever's next.
Adam, you're going to keep shooting no matter if you've had a game where you come off a crazy great game or one that you struggle. What was it like just to hit that first three today?
It felt really good. I pride myself on continuing to trust my work, and at the end of the day, one game doesn't define any of us. So, my teammates, the coaching staff really believe in me to keep continuing to be aggressive out there. So that's what I did.
Matthew Myers averaged 9 points a game for you guys and obviously done a lot on defense and rebounding, but today he put in 22. How dangerous are you if you guys get 13 extra points out of Matthew down the stretch?
Oh, very dangerous. He's an elite guy, and we have so much confidence in him. So when he comes out and he performs like that, we definitely have an uplift of a team, with the extra scoring. So I feel like, we all believe he's going to continue to do that. He's going to continue to be aggressive, and we're excited to see, how far we can go with it.
What was it like to not only be able to kind of know that you had that game in hand there for a large portion of the second half, but then to be able to empty the bench in an NCAA tournament game? Not everybody's going to get a chance to do that, obviously. There's going to be some people getting upset, but, to be able to empty your bench and see some guys scoring there in an official NCAA tournament game, how much fun was that?
Oh, it was amazing. Our guys from top to bottom worked so hard, so just to have the opportunity to go out there and we don't take that for granted. We want to support them just as they support us. So it was exciting seeing a lot of the guys that don't get as much minutes to play.
Adam, is it better to play a game, the first game, or does it matter? You play an early afternoon game, as you said, you're done. Now you go watch, you scout a little bit with Marquette, North Carolina. You have the rest of the day, all day tomorrow to tweak it and kind of get whatever you need done, rest your legs. Is it better to play an early game the first round?
Definitely. Once you get the ability just to wake up, get everybody locked in. Once you get that game over, you definitely have a lot of rest, and we get to just recuperate and get a lot more rest. So it's really exciting to be able to sit back and kind of see who we play next.
You mentioned that recuperate. I heard in the press conference yesterday, your Coach Drew saying that last year you guys needed to practice because you'd been resting when you had COVID. So you had plenty of rest. You needed to practice. This year you didn't need as much practice, although obviously you're doing that, as you did need time to recuperate. What's been the difference like between last year and this year, these week between the conference tournament and now?
It's very similar in my opinion from the week before coming out here, and then the conference because we did lose early last year as well, but having an opportunity to practice and rest as well was pivotal because we wanted to get back to playing the way that we enjoy playing, playing hard on defense and getting easy buckets.
So we know that Flo Thomba's parents got to come and watch him play in his first ever college game. What was that like to see? Was there's some excitement on Flo's part to see his folks here at the game?
Oh yeah, definitely. Flo was real excited. We were excited for him. Being away from his family for so long, we just wanted to come out there and play hard for him at the end of the day.
Adam, one more question from me. You know that because of how it ended against Oklahoma, and then a lot of people brought up the fact that you have some depth issues at times because of the injuries. Did you guys hear that? Is that something that was motivation at all during the last few days?
It was really hard not to hear it, to be honest. But, you can see it as motivation, but at the end of the day, we always focus on who's in our inner circle, and we just wanted to go back and practice hard and fine-tune certain things so we can come out here and put our best foot forward, for this March Madness. Okay, admit it, Adam. You missed the bubble. Oh, yeah. I tell that to everybody all the time. I missed the bubble. It was real exciting. We could spend a lot of time together. It felt like it was just March Madness going on in life. Like everything else outside of March Madness, I didn't know about, So it was really good for us to lock in, spend time together and bond and go out there and win. Adam, congratulations. You guys took care of business, and now you go and look at Marquette, North Carolina. I'm not going to ask you who you want to play because you just want to play somebody, and we'll see you Saturday here at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. Thank you so much. Adam Flagler. Today, 5 players for Baylor in double figures. Matthew Meyer had 22, 15 from Jeremy Sohan. Flo had 14, 11 from Flagler and 10 from James Akinjo. Baylor shot 57% from the field, 41% from 3, and
And Norfolk State was held to 31.6% shooting, 5 of 22 outside of the arc. Took care of their business. Let's take a break. Come back. Again, we're at Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue. A lot of you, either on YouTube, on the chat room, or in the chat room, on Twitter, also in the text line, 254-339-1122, which is also our number, and we will go back to calls as well. If you are here, and I know we're kind of facing the corner because of the setup to give the depth of you in the background here. If you're here, come up, tap us on the shoulder. We have a microphone if you were at the game and you want to talk about Baylor's win against Norfolk State. This is Sikkim 365 Radio, 365 Sports.
1, 2. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
Boots add protection. Good boots help you climb better and move forward faster. And when your son or daughter steps into the boots of a U.S. Army officer, they also learn how to lead. In these boots, they'll gain more confidence with expert training in one of more than 150 occupational specialties. In these boots, they'll stand a little taller and lead a team with diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise to successfully accomplish whatever challenge comes next. In these boots, they'll earn respect with valuable experience from day one that will give them solid footing for success into the future. Highly qualified candidates who earn a spot on our team can receive comprehensive health care coverage, college tuition assistance, and a bonus of up to $40,000. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The Sikkim 365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
Biscuits and Gravy just came by to say hi to us. Great to see her. She is here. Martin Moore, who's an author who wrote a book and also contacted us last week. We were discussing culture at various schools and athletic departments. He's written a book, and we're going to have him on maybe early next week to discuss that, about his thoughts about it. By the way, updates on games currently underway. One about to go final. Tennessee blowing out Longwood 88-56, under a minute to go there. Richmond up 6 over Iowa. 12 minutes left in that game. Georgia State, Gonzaga early on. Gonzaga's up 3 with 12:15 to go. And Marquette, North Carolina early on. Again, just 3 minutes into that game, 8-7. Marquette and Shaka Smart leading the Tar Heels. The winner will get Baylor. We had Adam Flagler earlier. We've taken your calls, your text, YouTube chat, all of it. Let's keep going. We're here till 6 o'clock at Rail House Smokehouse Barbecue, Montgomery Street in Fort Worth.
Howard called just before Adam Flagler called, so he got bumped down the queue a little bit. But Howard in Oregon, long time, my friend.
Yeah, I've been working in Prescott, Arizona since December. That's why I haven't called you guys, and I missed you,
Yeah. Oh, we missed you.
Yeah, I've been doing... Yeah, it's pretty good. You got a great show. Your show's the best, man. And, I got to give a shout-out for West Coast basketball. This is my opinion, okay? Just my opinion. I think the National Coach of the Year should be Tommy Lloyd. He took a team that wasn't even ranked and got him a number 1 seed. They only lost 3 games away from home. That's one of my things. And another one is like, what if the Wildcats kept a Kinjo? They would have had a Kinjo and Matherin as guards. That would have been something to see. A second-team All-American and a third-team All-American. That would have been great. And just one more thing, and then I'll let you guys comment on all this stuff, is it's kind of interesting in the tournament, all these years you get these refs that are from all these different conferences, and it's interesting to see how they let the players play. There's a difference in these conferences and what they let the players get away with, and that's always fascinated me,
No question, Howard. We discussed that really even all the last couple of 2 or 3, almost a month, as because of how the Big 12 is physical and beat yourself up a little bit, beat your opponent up. And we saw a little bit early today, Baylor had like 7 fouls, and there was still 14 or 15 minutes left. And my concern was not the game, was it's going to be a game that draws out like a 3-hour game, which then sets everything else the rest of the day back on television. But they eventually kind of loosened that up, and then the players kind of get a feel for it as well. And as far as Akinjo with Arizona, I know they moved on without him. He was good there when they had the coaching change. Baylor reached out. He could have gone anywhere, and he ended up at Baylor, and it's been a godsend. Even though there are times when people have been a little frustrated with his game, he's an All-American across the board. Across every single All-American team, he's second or third team All-American.
You know why I think people get frustrated with him is just they're comparing him to Davion Mitchell, who was so smooth. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't all this. And I don't think it's right to call it reckless. He is James Akinjo trusts himself so much that he will take chances that other guys don't take. And sometimes that winds up looking weird.
Yeah. And guess who else does that? The kid from Austin.
Yeah.
Matthew Meyer. He kind of sometimes can maybe scratch your head, but you can't win without him.
Pat Nunley told us this months ago. Says as frustrated as people may be getting early on, he's doing things that the rest of the team can't do, and they needed him to do it. And you watch him, and especially when he is, and now it looks to appear that he's finally healthy and that tailbone's not bothering him and all those things are happening. And now that that's going on, you see that James Akinjo is fantastic every night. No matter what's going on.
Yeah, I know where you're getting at, Howard, with Akinjo, if he was still on that zone team. But, shoot, they did just fine without him. Yep. And you don't know what kind of chemistry issues might have crept up if he was still on that roster. Who's he taking the ball out of the hands of? Because he's not going to have the ball out of his hands very, often if he has something to say about it. I think it worked out well for both. And that's what everybody should be thankful for, is that, Akinjo's getting his opportunity, doing well for himself. And Arizona's doing just fine themselves as well. So it's one of those rare deals where it's actually worked out all across the board. And as far as Tommy Lloyd goes, I think I saw The Athletic named him National Coach of the Year, and he's going to get a bunch of those types of awards along the way. And we get a little bit stuck on the Big 12 guys down here because, the Big 12 Coach of the Year award alone was debated widely And there was more than a couple of candidates that you could have gone with there. I mean, you could have gone Iowa State if you wanted to, and just for the turnaround that they had. But, yeah, I mean, nationally, Lloyd deserves a ton of credit for what he's done with Arizona. That's a Gonzaga guy. So, that's a program that knows what they're doing. And, to apply some of that Gonzaga to Arizona with their history as well, it's a dynamic combination. So it's working out well for them and him, and he'll have some Coach of the Year awards.
No question about it. The chat room, I hate to say it, Chris, but you might be right. Chris was talking about back with the Cowboys conversation with Zeke Elliott. While they can trade him, let Pollard, the young running back, they have a perfect setup right now with Zeke and Pollard. It's perfect that way. Yeah. And they can do that because Pollard doesn't have to be overpaid yet or doesn't have that free agent opportunity yet.
Here's the thing. They really needed to flip Amari Cooper and Zeke Elliott's contracts, because they would have rather probably, ability-wise, at this point, kept Amari Cooper and let Zeke walk, because Zeke is getting more money than most running backs get for the kind of production that he put out. The problem is that Zeke Elliott is a $15 to $20 million cap hit this year. If they cut him, if they trade him, nothing can change that. So if you're getting a cap hit that doesn't change no matter what you do, you might as well have the guy on your roster and see what you got, as opposed to paying him to go play somewhere else and potentially beat you. So now next year that contract becomes easier for the Cowboys to move on from, but right now they can't get out of the Zeke deal. They've got to sink or swim with him, and that's what they're going to do. It's and then just have the fact of it.
Bob Kramer, Mountain West, is 0 for 3, sad showing. Also, Steven Snook, Iowa getting all they want from Richmond. It's back and forth right now in that game. Last time I looked, it's a 3-point game, 9 minutes left in that one. The chat room as well. Let's see here from Bob. Mike goes, I can't wait for tomorrow. Making the 1-hour drive to Pittsburgh to see some tournament basketball. Go UAB Blazers. And yes, thank you, all of you who are watching and whatever you're doing as far as the games on TV and also helping to keep up with us. And I want to say again, Biscuits and Gravy came from the arena to come by and say hi to us. There's some Baylor fans that are starting to show up here. I saw a couple that are up in the front. Thank you very much, because you didn't have to do that. You could go home or you could go somewhere else. And we appreciate you coming to Railhouse Smokehouse Barbecue to support Sikkim 365 Radio.
All right, let's go to Chris in Missouri. Chris, thanks for your call.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to get your expertise on this. I thought that college football was getting ruined by the transfer portal and NIL deals. I just wonder, is college basketball insulated from that, or do you see them going down the same road and kind of ruining what college basketball is? I'm worried that, Oh, go ahead. Thanks.
No, college basketball, you can go after a year.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit different how quickly they can become professional. And you know what we haven't really heard? We haven't heard some of the deals like you've heard in football. At least maybe they were already getting them, which might have been happening in college football as well. Craig?
It's because I don't have a great reason for why that is, and I hadn't even really thought about it all that much. Maybe it's the fact there's not like a Zion Williamson, and maybe if there was, that guy would be getting bukus and bukus of money. But I can't tell you one basketball NIL commercial that I've seen.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Not a single one.
It might say something that they were already doing that, yeah.
I think probably because basketball was already very deep into their dirty recruiting, and it was all out there for everybody to see. So we've already seen all of it, and we already know it, and we already acknowledge it, and we let Will Wade keep coaching until it's finally proven to where they're like, okay, yeah, we knew he was dirty. We just couldn't fire him because of this and this, but now we know this is out of the way. Now he's fired, and yeah, he was really super dirty. So we already just think basketball's dirty. We always thought football was dirty, or we know basketball it can be dirty. We always thought football was dirty and knew it to an extent, but now we know, because all these NIL deals, I'm telling you, all this money that's being spent, I haven't seen jack on my TV screen or on my computer. I don't have Instagram and Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, so maybe that's where all the NIL college deals are. I don't see them. So,
but even the guys I know
I can't tell you one.
No.
Even the guys I'm on Instagram, and even the guys I follow, the people I follow on Instagram that have NIL deals, I don't see, most of their stuff is just, this is me in the gym. I mean, so maybe it's just oh, look, he's wearing Nikes. I don't know, but I do think it's a multi-tiered thing with basketball in that, their professional thing was different at first. Basketball with one guy can change your whole program.
Yeah.
At football, one guy can, but you need 8 or 9 other guys to follow him.
Yeah, and I think, too, part of the deal with the football is I wonder why these guys are apparently making all this money, and yet I'm not seeing them become, like, crossover superstars or, like, big TV stars or anything like that. Now, granted, some of it's infancy, but maybe the reason is because there's actually not that much interest for these guys as marketing tools, and it's really just an excuse for them to pay players money to come play there.
I think that's a great point. Nick Lee,
think that's what it is.
They're getting good NIL deals here in Arkansas, University of Arkansas, and I said, are you men's basketball? Yes, sir. So, Nick, thank you for that. We appreciate that. Nalissa put out Nalissa Smith, All-American and up for Player of the Year across the board at Baylor, put out an Instagram story saying that she is partnering with Wingstop.
Great.
So there's one, but you just haven't seen it like it is in football.
It's not like what we thought. We thought we'd be seeing like Gatorade commercials and like Nike promotions and all kinds of stuff.
I wonder if they can do that now.
And they're kind of doing some of that stuff, but it's more or less coming down to like mom and pop shops or like a Wingstop
or even websites like Sick'em.
Well, and then how much does let's say Nalissa Smith. That's great for her. That's fantastic. But if you do like the Barstool thing, where they basically said we're signing whoever, everybody's a Barstool athlete, kind of, and it wasn't quite that, but pretty much. I mean, there's total no names that were suddenly we're Barstool athletes, and so I wonder maybe if there's so many people on like some companies are spending so much on like various athletes that it doesn't make it special when it's like that one marquee athlete that you're like Michael Jordan and Gatorade. Instead it's like just a bunch of people, and I know some of them and some of them I don't, that are advertising Wingstop. You know what I'm saying?
And I do think that men's basketball, you do see the elite players leaving after 1 year.
Yeah, that's a big part.
Baylor's got decisions to make, or they do. Kendall Brown and Jeremy Sohan, among others. Nick Lee said Williams from Arkansas promoting University Medical Center. Tony Dentistry, JT Note of Petco. So they've got some of that.
I think the other thing, too, going with the NBA and the one and done, is that how many people could name Baylor's roster right now that don't watch Baylor?
Probably
like 5%, maybe.
Yeah.
And so much less, name Dayton's roster for me real quick.
I can't
do it.
Name UMBC's roster for me. We don't know any of these guys practically. I mean, I think that's one thing. Everybody's watching the tournament. But
if you're going to give an NIL guy, like let's say if Zion was a senior in high school now, he would have something.
Oh, he'd already have like $20 million in the bank.
He did. Yeah. In fact, that's one of the things that's still out there.
He did. Yeah, exactly.
But the one and done in men's basketball does perhaps keep that from being as prevalent because they can leave after a year, and if it's an NIL and he's there a year, it's not like a player that's going to be in college for football for 2 or 3 years.
Right. Tony Altamore on the text line. Craig, you're 100% right. It's just an excuse to pay. Remember that big stuff like Gatorade takes a year of annual planning and budgeting and such, but in general, 100% right. So maybe now that it's been a year, we'll see some, but also it's been a year, and I would think that the bit like Gatorade might go, well, okay, we can get, Keegan Murray is the player of the year. We'll get guys like that, but, you can already get him because Keegan Murray is going to the NBA. So college-wise, basketball is even tougher to figure. Football, Spencer Rattler's transferred, so maybe if he plays well, that might be a good deal in the long term for Raising Cane's, or Caleb Williams, let's give him some money. But the bottom line is it's still going to be hard for them to predict a year out who's worth the money to spend on.
Let me tell you right now who's having a tough first half. Marquette down 18-8. 8.5 minutes into the first half, they've scored a point a minute, which means you're going to score around 40-45. Marquette, again, down 10.
Hit a bucket on you for talking.
Hit a little glad. Well, they need to make a run. They're down 8 to North Carolina, 8th seed against the 9th seed. And, again, there's plenty of time left, 9 minutes into the first half.
So who do you think is the most famous or talented athlete to ever come out of Marquette? Outside of Dwayne Wade.
His last name is Lee.
Yeah.
There's a guard or someone named Lee.
Jimmy Butler. I mean, they've got some good ones.
No, Jimmy Butler would have to. And I covered him at JUCO.
Yeah.
Did his games for a while.
Yeah.
Marquette.
Butch Lee,
guard. Yeah.
Doc Rivers went to Marquette.
And I'm going way old school. Okay, Doc Rivers as well.
Chris Farley went to Marquette. That was my point. I was trying to
okay. 254-339-1122. Tony, thanks for your text as well. One of the questions from the 254 on Zach Loveday, obviously not really a fit right now with what Baylor does. What will he do going forward? Obviously he doesn't get a lot of time. It depends. Zach may just love Baylor. He may just love Baylor, and if Flo comes back for another year, will he have the option to do something? Yes, but maybe he just loves what he's doing, what his role is. He may want more playing time, and if he does, then he can find that at a lot of different places. It was good to see him. Good to see all of them. They cleared the bench today. Baylor beating Norfolk State 85-49.
All right, let's take a call and then a break. Diane, is Diane here? Is she back on the road? Diane.
I'm back on the road. I had to meet my daughter for dinner, but I did want to just stop and say hi to you guys. I'm glad I was able to do that. I just wanted to talk about Dickey's Arena and what a fabulous event center that was. It was lovely. It's so obviously new and so very pretty, but it's just an awesome arena. And I hope that our new arena is something like that, where you feel really close in no matter where you are. It just, after being at the Farrell Center for so long, it was just such a shock to be in such I love the Farrell Center, but this was just truly a beautiful arena, and kudos to the city of Fort Worth for having such an venue.
Well, and they built it so they could host things like this, not just the livestock and rodeo shows and other events and concerts, but they got a tournament game, a tournament weekend.
I'll tell you, my favorite part is it's one of the first stadiums, arenas I have been to in probably years where it's not like 2 miles to get from the entrance in the building to eventually where you're going to go. Like, it was like boom in the side door, up in like it went elevator and around the corner and we were there. It wasn't like, elevator, walk halfway around the stadium, go down an escalator, doing that kind of jazz. It's just really convenient.
See the troll, solve the riddle.
Yeah. It's like, it's just very convenient. And and walking through the concourse area, just how clean, and they had some really good, I don't know, it was like hand-carved, kind of like mural type things. I don't even know what you'd call that architecturally.
Yeah.
But then the TVs above the concession stands are super nice touch. Everything's just
modern.
brand new and nice and modern,
And you hope it stays that way. And one of the things about stadiums, and the ballpark in Arlington, which is now still there, or whatever they call
Texas
it now.
Live.
They now... the first stadium the Rangers played in, of course, was Old Arlington Stadium. With the ballpark in Arlington, which I still think today is beautiful, they started having what you call the much deeper concourses where you weren't all over each other. And so if there's a rain delay in baseball, it's not like a bunch of fire ants. Obviously, the Cowboys' AT&T Stadium is insanely massive underneath. It's almost like a city, and they have all sorts of room underneath there as well. It's very spacious. Richmond up 7. 4:29 left in their game against Iowa.
And I know that there's, I don't know how small or large the contingent is. I know there is a segment of the Baylor fan base that's not on board with the new arena, that don't feel it's necessary or whatever they may feel. I don't know. I don't dive that deeply into it. I just know I've seen those comments before, particularly from older fans. But I'll tell you what, today, I get maybe some of the reasoning for that. Maybe that money could be better spent elsewhere. Maybe you don't need to reduce the crowd size that much. I mean, whatever you want to argue for or against. Showing up at that arena today, I'm like, yep, Baylor needs a new one.
Yeah.
They have to have a new one. It's just a no-brainer.
Here's why. When your men's basketball coach wins a national title, and they've wanted a new arena for quite some time, you give it to them.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Every day, every time a big-time college basketball job opens, some website, even one the other day, a guy that I like a lot, Pete Mundo, said that LSU might be interested in Scott Drew. I'm sorry, it's not happening.
No.
For many reasons I could tell you. But
there you go.
But the reason that that the Baylor can cut this off at the pass is that Scott Drew has everything he'll ever want and more at Baylor, and that's not necessarily the case anywhere else. So when people rack their brains about, how come Indiana can't get over? How come this? Well, when you have an athletic director that you get along with great that says, what can I do to help you? And then you win a national title, he goes, how about we build that new arena? You don't leave.
Yeah, North Carolina now popped it open to 24-10. Marquette can't hit shots. You got to make shots. 24-10 Carolina midway through the first half. And that one, Richmond with 3:49 left leads Iowa 56-52. And how about this? 6:23 left first half. Gonzaga and Georgia State tied at 23.
Hey, Georgia State, those are pesky buggers there, man.
Yeah, that was R.J. Hunter, right?
Yeah. Rich Boone, by the way. Yeah, exactly.
About how far Scott Drew's come from that day.
Oh, my Lord. Rich Boone, Scott Drew can make Baylor the next Duke. We've heard that Baylor athletically in the department can maybe one day become what Clemson's become. Of course, there's a long way to go until that point, but there are thoughts that I've seen that. In fact, a writer's even said that before.
I've never considered that before, but that's brilliant. It makes total sense. Like, yeah, because they're not going to be the next, like major blue blood, like typical, like at Ohio State or, that kind of ever, but a Duke type blue blood, yeah, absolutely they could be that. I've never really thought about it that much, but yeah, absolutely. The hardest part's getting that first national title.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I know that Scott Drew would probably say now.
Do you know how long Coach K had to wait for
right,
one? Yeah.
But I'm sure Scott Drew will say at some point the hardest part's like trying to get the second one, or maintaining the success of the first one. But he got the hardest part out of the way, and that was winning that first one. Because once you win that first one, you got that ring to flash. A whole lot of doors open.
You're there forever. So many that would love it. By the way, Lee Buttercup, who in the world wouldn't want a new Foster Pavilion? Men's, women's basketball national championships. They earned it, deserved it. Will also give us even greater presence on I-35 across from McLean and the busiest highway in the state of Texas.
It was so nice that I think people who typically convince themselves not to go to games would go to games just because it's a fun atmosphere. It's not, too old or too whatever. It's just modern, and that's the word that I keep coming back to, and it was fun to be there.
Most of the people complaining about the new arena are mad because they're mad about what Baylor fans have been mad about every time they do it. They're mad they're going to have a different chair. That's it.
Or
it's about
the chair. They can't park near the arena.
Yes,
it may have to walk in that. And I understand sometimes if you're a little bit older, not making fun of that or downgrading that, but we get it. It's McLean Stadium was built. You could drive right up. And again, it started getting to be more and more sellouts when they started winning the Big 12 titles. But hey, bright and shiny, people like new. It doesn't mean you can't start tradition where you start something new, which would be the Foster Pavilion. From Bob. By the way, for many, it's St. Patrick's Day. We haven't even said that. I'm wearing green. No one's pinching me.
I never do. I'm not Irish. But
you had a green wristband.
Yeah, they put that on me when I went in the arena, so I was inspected.
Oh, really?
I don't want to tell you what I had to go through.
Armstrong, are you wearing? Yep, he's got a Baylor logo shirt.
Yeah,
Craig, you got any green on?
My boxers, just trust me.
Yeah.
You could have said that. You didn't think that quickly.
Listen, I don't. Listen, my holiday as a Sicilian is 2 days from now. St. Joseph's Day.
From Phil, Smokey sitting at the Circa drinking green beer watching the game, so I would like to send you a book that my father-in-law wrote about World War II. What's the 365 mailing address? I will send that to you, Phil, right now on Sikkim 365 Radio.
We'll pass that around pretty well.
Yeah, and Brian Etheridge is watching from work today. Gave him the address, 101 Elm Street. I'm not sure that's the one we need to send it, though.
I think it's fine. They can get it in the mailbox. Just get
good.
It later,
also, Brandon, not debating, needing, berating, cost and timing. Hold off a year or two when prices drop. And, of course, things are right now
what about the arena, you mean?
Very, very expensive.
Yeah, no, I understand that, yeah.
When we come back, we will continue. The number to call. Baylor beats Norfolk State, and they should, and they hammered them. 85-49. We had Adam Flagler join us live throughout the day today until 6 here at Smokehouse, Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue. We'll be in taking your calls, text, chat, all of it. Let's go. 254-339-1122.
At Allen Samuels, come see the Wagoneer Series 2 and 3 with 2.9% for 72 months, plus $1,500 in bonus cash. For all first responders, get an extra $500. Shop this incredible vehicle that gives you performance, style, perfect for your family, and reliability your family deserves today from Allen Samuels in Waco. Come shop our huge inventory at Allen Samuels in Waco.
Come by. Let's be friends.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwood Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
You know what would make this moment better?
pizza. Dough made from scratch and an Italian family sauce recipe pizza. 3 fresh signature cheeses making a melty blanket of perfection pizza. Like loads of premium toppings like crispy Old World pepperoni, savory Italian sausage, and fresh sliced veggies pizza. That's Marco's Pizza. Visit marcos.com and make any moment better. And with 4 locations in Waco, Belmead, China Spring, Woodway, and soon to open in Robinson. Marco's. Pizza lovers get it.
Baylor Scott and White, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The team physicians for Baylor Athletics, diagnosing and treating all sports-related injuries, including concussions. These specialists also provide orthopedic services for athletes and non-athletes alike, whether it's knee or shoulder pain, hand or wrist injury, orthopedic spine care, and even an arthritis and total joint clinic. Trust the doctors Baylor Athletics trusts. Baylor Scott and White, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics wants to get you back in the game.
It's plain and simple. Waco Custom Marketplace is the one-stop shop for what you need for tailgating, from charcoal, cold beer, and wine. And, of course, customize your order with brisket, tri-tip, sausage, wings, smoked pork tenderloin, country-style or pork spare ribs, marinated beef and chicken fajita meat, ground beef and chili, meat, hot dogs, and burgers, buns, seasoning, sauces, chips. There's fresh baked bread and kolaches every day, breakfast sausage links. And you can also customize your favorite cut of steaks from Select, Choice, or Prime, bacon wrap fillets, ribeyes, New York strip, sirloin, T-bone, and porterhouse. Full-service butcher shop includes pork, poultry, beef, chicken, and seafood, serving Waco restaurants and families since 1940. Your one-stop shop for beef, pork, poultry, and seafood needs. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
At Allen Samuels, come see the Wagoneer Series 2 and 3 with 2.9% for 72 months, plus $1,500 in bonus cash. For all first responders, get an extra $500. Shop this incredible vehicle that gives you performance, style, perfect for your family, and reliability your family deserves today from Allen Samuels in Waco. Come shop our huge inventory at Allen Samuels in Waco.
Come by. Let's be friends.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
You know what would make this moment better? Pizza. Dough made from scratch and an Italian family sauce recipe pizza. 3 fresh signature cheeses making a melty blanket of perfection pizza. Like loads of premium toppings like crispy Old World pepperoni, savory Italian sausage, and fresh sliced veggies pizza. That's Marco's Pizza. Visit marcos.com and make any moment better. And with 4 locations in Waco, Belmead, China Spring, Woodway, and soon to open in Robinson. Marco's. Pizza lovers get it.
Baylor Scott and White, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The team physicians for Baylor Athletics, diagnosing and treating all sports-related injuries, including concussions. These specialists also provide orthopedic services for athletes and non-athletes alike, whether it's knee or shoulder pain, hand or wrist injury, orthopedic spine care, and even an arthritis and total joint clinic. Trust the doctors Baylor Athletics trusts. Baylor Scott and White, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics wants to get you back in the game.
It's plain and simple. Waco Custom Marketplace is the one-stop shop for what you need for tailgating, from charcoal, cold beer, and wine. And, of course, customize your order with brisket, tri-tip, sausage, wings, smoked pork tenderloin, country-style or pork spare ribs, marinated beef and chicken fajita meat, ground beef and chili, meat, hot dogs, and burgers, buns, seasoning, sauces, chips. There's fresh baked bread and kolaches every day, breakfast sausage links. And you can also customize your favorite
favorite cut of steaks from Select, Choice, or Prime, bacon wrap fillets, ribeyes, New York strips, sirloin, T-bone, and porterhouse. Full-service butcher shop includes pork, poultry, beef, chicken, and seafood, serving Waco restaurants and families since 1940. Your one-stop shop for beef, pork, poultry, and seafood needs, Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Erie Drive, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Automatic Chef Canteen is a full-service micro-market vending and office coffee provider with state-of-the-art vending equipment, a wide variety of products, and offering custom-fitted micro-market vending office coffee solutions for your employee break room. You want a full break room solution and a workplace oasis? Well, Automatic Chef Canteen, locally owned and operated for over 50 years in Central Texas, also includes in-house mechanics on call 24/7 for fast, reliable service and maintenance. Automatic Chef Canteen, 6900 Imperial Drive in Waco, or online at automaticchefcanteen.com.
Welcome to Sikkim 365 Radio, live from Railhead Smokehouse in Fort Worth.
This is Brown right here. Stops, scoops it up and in. Wow! Oh my God!
Our coverage of the NCAA tournament is brought to you by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Automatic Chef and Canteen, Edward Jones Investments, IdealMRI.com, Marco's Pizza, The Nitchie Group, Pioneer Steel and Pipe, Southwest Sports Medicine, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, Waco Custom Marketplace, and the Willis Law Firm.
Here he goes. Jamba Joshua. The exclamation point.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, we are here. Richmond right now, 15.2 seconds to go, leading Iowa, and Richmond has a free throw to go here, up 3. They can get a 2-possession lead with 15 seconds to go, 64-61. Right now, the Spiders up 4, 65-61. That game's down to 15 seconds. North Carolina is blitzkrieging Marquette, 37-21. And I mean, the Tar Heels have just looked almost flawless in that game. By the way,
Shaka Smart with hair looks like a completely different person.
Yeah, yes. it's like someone's like a relative. Baylor like needs from Baylor 88 Bear. Baylor needs the new arena. Period. Guys like me who love Baylor went to the heart of Texas. Remember how that was. In order to continue to compete short and long term, we need the pavilion.
Yeah, I want to point out real quick, I used a bunch of Dickie V highlights today because Baylor was the last game I believe he called before he had to go to the sidelines. Well, he's gotten great medical news. He's in remission. So just wanted to mention that about our good friend Dickie V. He's been on this show many times.
Love the guy. I promise you this, and this is not trying to be a name dropper. We're able to get him once or twice a year. He was on with us last year during Baylor's run 2 or 3 times. Send him a text. He responds and then uses the name. Now, I don't know if he has my name saved or not, but he's just, I mean, you know how thousands and millions of people who reach out to him. So glad he's gotten some pretty good news. Iowa up 4 with 5.5 seconds. They're going to the review now to see whose ball it is after a missed shot by the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be some folks who had Richmond in their brackets that are going to be smiling big here, barring some, crazy sequence of events like Iowa getting this decision that it's their ball and then hitting a 3 and getting fouled. Outside of some scenario like that, Richmond's going to win this game, and a 12 is going to knock off a 5. And I haven't been able to keep up with every single score today, but that would be the first big shoe-to drop, I do believe.
Georgia State up 2 on Gonzaga, minute and a half to go in the first half. That game, of course, and it's 31-29, so they've kept Gonzaga from getting up in transition. North Carolina is just crushing Marquette.
Yeah, they're going to have to change the channel. This game's going to get really – I mean, this is basically the Baylor game is what it is.
It's even worse.
Yeah.
20 up now, North Carolina. By the way, one of the players on North Carolina, Manick, played at Oklahoma, transferred to Carolina. Yeah.
Looks like they switched a weird bearded guy for another with Tanner Groves.
Iowa on a tip-in with 4.8 to go now. Call timeout, so that's still not over. that thing's still got some things. That's got something to get through. On the text line, thanks for the text to 702. That's the book writer. Phil. I'm going to send Phil. I'm going to send you my mailing address so we make sure we get it to you. All right.
By the way, Gonzaga and Georgia State is not going how the Bulldogs want it to right now.
Yeah, it's
33-33.
Yep,
so.
And it's a low-scoring game right now. Of course, Gonzaga also very highly ranked with what they do defensively, but you thought they would try to get out and get that transition game going. On the chat room, I didn't pick Richmond at all. Bob Williams, title of the book, by the way, at Phil, believe it or not, I read a lot of it. Bob Williams is talking back to Phil about the book about World War II. Daniel, I hope North Carolina uses up all of their energy today.
They're not having to use much right now.
They might be able to empty their bench pretty quickly. They're just absolutely destroying Marquette up by 20.
This is my worst bracket ever, by the way.
Really?
If Iowa loses this game, it's like the Red Wedding. It's just bad.
One of the greatest. I mean, greatest. It was pretty gory, but one of the greatest. Whoa! What just happened? Moments in television history. Done by a show that had a chance to be the greatest in television history, but screwed it up. Yeah, well, never mind.
I'm sorry. No, I'm describing Richmond had the ball in bounds, and I think there was a foul in the ball in bounds. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I just did what you always tell me I do. I just killed the punchline.
Yeah, I know. You gotta work on that.
Okay. Rich Boone, I want some of that 365 Sick'em swag on my laptop. I've got a couple of logos here. I got one right here. So that's that.
We have plenty of them. I'm sure we can.
I feel like I'm just going to let you guys.
No.
Not now. I mean, you might as well keep going.
I just got excited about that play. It looked like Iowa forced a turnover, had a chance to tie or win the game. So that one's going down to the wire. Gonzaga now up 2. 32 seconds to go in the half. Baylor won earlier today. Matthew Meyer led the way with 22. We had Adam Flagler join us. We'll probably play that again in the 5 o'clock hours. Great. Thanks to David K. Don Rogers for helping make that happen. And again, someone just made a comment about these cups. The Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue. On the back of the cup, life is too short to live in Dallas.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah, and this place is about as Fort Worth as you can get.
It's great.
I mean, they host the TCU pre- and post-game shows and coaches shows and all that.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about how great Brian Estridge, who is the voice of TCU, and sometimes I always thought he was related to our partner Brian Etheridge, and some other people do as well, that he's the one that suggested we call Charlie Guerin here. And Charlie Guerin said, come on.
It wouldn't have happened if GP was still here.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. The world would explode.
No, absolutely not. No. We would have been banned, especially Craig, who Gary Patterson.
I don't know if we would have done it ourselves. We probably need to find something different.
But this is, again, if you're in Fort Worth, which is a great place to come and visit, and you want a place to feel real Fort Worthy, this place is.
It is.
Yes. Super Fort Worth, yeah.
And I've gone over to there's a table, some Sick'em 365 radio fans behind us, the depth behind us, of course, of everyone. There's a group here that was at the game with the different TCU and Baylor fans right behind us. If you are here at Railhead, come on over. We've got a microphone. Kim, there's a couple of Kims at a table along with their husband who said she's coming over here, but she wanted to finish off the first margarita.
Okay, well they'll make it that much better.
Richmond's 4, 2 free throws with 5.1 to go. So that Iowa's going to need what you said, Craig, a shot and a foul, and they dribble it out. Here in just a second, we'll see what they can get, any kind of a miracle. There's a turnover on the inbounds pass, and Richmond looks like they're about to polish off Iowa.
Yeah.
Oh, it traveled.
There's no way. There was a foul before he had an opportunity to travel. They had to have called a foul.
Yeah, looks like they might have.
He got bumped before he even had a chance to dribble the ball.
So Iowa and our good friend Timothy Vermeer, we feel for you, buddy. We really do, because I know you're a huge Hawkeyes fan, and this is going to upset your day.
Oh, that's just the word, man. When Baylor lost to Georgia State, I mean, I wasn't in that one as like a fan, but as far as like broadcasting goes, you get all ready like, hey, we're going to have tournament to talk about for the next couple weeks, and then they're just out of it right away. It's a terrible feeling, especially if you've got a team that you're psyched up about. If you're one of these like 15, 16 seeds, like there's a little happy to be there factor for you at least. But if you're a top seed, there's just Doesn't get much more brutal than losing that first round game in upset fashion to a lower seed. It's just tough.
We've been there, Craig, all of us, and I particularly been there in person, and I'll never forget Jacksonville and Providence. Expecting Baylor to get wins and losing to Georgia State and Yale.
Hey, there's something going on. Yeah, no, and you were on the road. I remember that was the day when some people started wondering if Scott had hit his peak, his ceiling. This North Carolina Marquette game is incredibly chippy. There was a loose ball on the floor. 2 players from both teams dive for it, but 32 Morcell, who's been kind of back and forth with a couple of guys from North Carolina, had a player from Carolina kind of in a forearm lock, and they're going to the review to see if there's anything more than just a foul or if it's the timeout or a loose ball. Watch right here. Watch right here. Yeah, that's a little bit more than you need to right now, but oh well. And they'll look at it. 3:30 to go in the half. North Carolina up by 21. 254-339-1122. And Phil, I'm about to send you a mailing address to send your book, A Spy in the Sky by Kenneth B. Johnson. That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
That'd be a pretty awesome job. I don't know. I think people think it'd be awesome to be a spy. I would imagine that's like the most stress-filled life you can lead.
I would think so. I mean, living, and down goes Iowa.
Iowa's done. Wow.
Yeah, that would be stressful to have to just live a full-on line like that. But the Americans makes it look fun and stressful.
Yeah.
But fun sometimes.
There's hot chicks,
Yeah, but down goes Iowa. Number 5 seeded Hawkeyes out of it, 67-63. The final score, so 12 seeded Richmond with one of the best mascots. And I'm surprised there's not like a pro team that's called the Spiders, because actually it's kind of a cool name.
I love the name.
No, let's go Commanders. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, there's
but that would have been a good one. Washington Spiders.
Spiders would have been cool.
I would have been fine with that. Yeah,
Spiders would be a great name for somebody. But they're moving on, and that's a tremendous win for that program, and that's a brutal loss for the Hawkeyes.
67-63 Richmond, and there are some flagrants being handed out, I think, in this the scrum that we just saw between North Carolina and Marquette.
Well, to the discussion about team names, the Toronto Raptors are called that because of Jurassic Park was the most popular movie when they were founded, so they called themselves the Raptors because it was popular.
The Ducks.
And the Duck, that was all Disney. Ducks was all Disney. Well, the most popular movie right now is Spider-Man. Why not draft off that?
Craig just watched it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I finally got around to watching it. I should have watched it in theaters, but it got to the point where it had been out so long that I was like, I'm just going to wait at this point. And it was fantastic. It was a fantastic movie. There's a lot of movies that try to do way too many things in the typical same time frame of 2 hours, and somehow they managed to pull it off like pretty much flawlessly. Like to have so many different things and so many different characters and so many different explanations of, kind of how this all came together, and they pulled it off flawlessly. I mean, it's like unbelievable. I was surprised. I thought there's going to be like parts where it's got to get like log jammed, or like I think of Spider-Man 3 and how they had way too many villains. They had no idea how to really write that movie, and this is like taking all of what they did wrong and doing it absolutely perfect.
Yeah, they did everything right.
It was unbelievable. It was an unbelievable superhero movie. Just a movie. Just forget the superhero part, but just a movie.
Yeah. Baylor 88 Bear on the text line. Glad the Big Ten got those 9 teams in.
Hey, Big Ten champion.
Iowa's not one that didn't, shouldn't have been in, but you're right.
2 of them are out now because Rutgers is out after a double overtime thriller last night. Although I'll tell you this is the first time I watched Rutgers all year last night. I really like that Ron Harper Jr.
Yeah,
I really like him. He's a fun player to watch. But Notre Dame wins that game last night in the ACC, which was
a fantastic game.
Woeful this year for the most part, outside of a few teams. It was a good game. Went to double overtime.
Let's break here. 4:29. I'm going to try to track down Chuck Cooperstein, who did the game last night, that Mavericks win in Brooklyn.
He's probably locked into this nail biter.
The first 2 games here in Fort Worth have been blowouts, no question. In North Carolina and Marquette, I think everyone thought would be
Baylor's playing
much
North
more
Carolina.
competitive.
Baylor's playing North Carolina on Saturday, so get ready for that.
Well, they're in the blue blood region. There's all sorts of them. North Carolina, UCLA, Kentucky, and maybe, you never know. That's what Baylor, of course, wants to be, and there's a chance if they can take care of that region. They're coming off the national championship. You got to start and continue and sustain it somewhere. Sikkim 365 Radio and 365 Sports.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Brad Boozer, Boozer's Jeweler, joins us on Sikkim 365 Radio. Boozer's Jewelers on the corner of Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive. It's a staple of the Waco economy. And you're about to approach this time of the year where you have the holidays, special gifts. It's not that you don't have that every single day. What are some of the things you have coming up?
You know, we kind of call ourselves the wedding ring store. We do all of our own custom work in-house. I've got 2 expert jewelers on staff every day. We can make anything from scratch. We kind of pride ourselves, probably 9 out of 10 every engagement ring we do is actually made custom to what the customer wants.
People look at that, oh my God, I can't afford it. I can't afford something like that. You've shown me examples that you could fit pretty much any budget.
It doesn't cost any more to custom make something. You still have gold, you still have diamonds, and you still have labor. Best thing about a custom piece is if you have any old jewelry or heirloom jewelry or something passed down from a grandma or somebody, we can take that jewelry and use it towards your wedding ring for the sentimental value, and then you've got the product, and then it's just a little bit of labor and a little bit of design on your part of what you actually want.
You want to know why they're successful? Brad Boozer, the owner of Boozer's Jewelers on the corner of Valley Mills and Lake Air in Waco.
Welcome back to Sikkim 365 Radio.
The Sikkim 365 Radio app is sponsored by Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco, your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
All right, we're back. Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue, and a couple of you, in fact, from the 360. Man, you guys look like you're having fun. Glad to see you got out of the studio. Wish I was there. Cheers. Keep up the great work, 365 and 360. Thank you.
Cheers.
For your text. We do appreciate you so much. Scotty B, maybe North Carolina, Baylor can use ball screens on offense to get Carolina's bigs in foul trouble, create mismatch. Right now, they're doing everything. Shooting, rebounding,
hey man,
pounding.
Those bigs, that's going to be a big concern
Yep.
coming up here in a couple of days, based on what we're seeing and have seen, throughout the season for Baylor in particular. Looking at, again, I'm going back to just one of the small critiques of today. when there was some of that ticky-tack officiating going on, it subsided, and that was great. But also early on, they were getting beat on some rebounds. They were getting beat to the bucket. They were getting us some easy shots, and North Carolina, like that's a whole. You do that, they're gonna put it on you. So
53-25, Carolina cruising past Marquette. That thing's been over almost from the beginning.
This is an 8-9. Like this isn't
Yep. And so that's who Baylor's going to play.
2-15 or something.
See what Armstrong wears on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. House divided.
Divided.
Armstrong's rooting for whoever wins the game. That's who he's rooting for,
Yeah, Armstrong can't. 53-25, that's the score at halftime. Iowa beaten today by Richmond, so that's the first banger, right? That's the first bracket banger, although the 12-5, it happens, right? It happens.
Yeah. I'm really glad I'm not in any kind of money for this bracket.
Well, Armstrong apparently picked Richmond. Is that right?
Yeah, Armstrong's better than me. I mean, let's just admit it.
Yeah, well, it happens. It happens.
I'm just bummed.
So Boise State was an 8-9, missed that one. Let's see. I missed there was another one earlier. I got Tennessee and Michigan, so that's good, thank God. And then there's one more. South Dakota State, I was an idiot. I do have. Damn. No, I lied. Iowa. Yep. There you go. I'm screwed. It's over.
Because you lost one first-round game.
Well, first round, you just next thing you know, it just all depends. I forgot how deep
I don't care about the people who had like Iowa losing in this round of 32. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
No.
The people who had Iowa going to the Final Four, they're screwed.
Oh, they're done.
I mean,
they're done. Well, you can't overcome that.
Not totally. You actually could, but the 3/4 of your bracket remaining has to be almost completely perfect.
And you have to have a Loyola Chicago or a Richmond or someone that that is probably a long shot to get past the first or even the second round or into the second weekend. You're going to have Davidson or someone like, for example, this game with Georgia State to blow up everybody else's bracket as well. All right, let's go back to Baylor's win against Norfolk State. And there are some other NFL notes. There's an incredible story out of Philadelphia. We'll get to that with an elite player, Fletcher Cox, released today, and we'll discuss that. Baylor wins 85-49, led by 16.5. Yeah, there are some things they could have done better. They shot 57% from the field, 40% from threes. Flagler, Meyer, Akinjo hitting threes. Sohan hitting a couple of threes. Again, it's Norfolk State, with all due respect to them. It's a completely different animal when they play North Carolina with all of what they have. Now, this is not a great North Carolina team, but it's one we just saw a couple of weeks ago hammer Duke at Cameron Indoor in a big moment.
In the biggest moment that's ever going to happen at Cameron Indoor.
Yep.
They took it in stride and just rolled through it. So, this was, of all the 8 seeds a 1 seed could see, I would say that North Carolina, especially recent North Carolina, not the one you want to see. Now, North Carolina, middle of the season, where people thought if they don't get right, they could miss the tournament. Well, that team's dead. They killed them.
Yeah.
They killed them and moved on.
Yep.
And Hubert Davis, what he's been doing lately, very, very impressive.
From Timothy, Iowa fan. Timothy, I know you have had fun at my expense of being a Nebraska fan, but I feel bad for you. He said, I wish I was there with you guys, drowning my sorrows in barbecue. I like that. He said barbecue. Also from Lee Buttercup. I see your SEC refs and raise you the Big 12 refs. Our conference were a slugfest that many of our players had 2 and 3 fouls in the first minutes of today's game because of the different style, and we discussed that as well.
It's all going to depend on who you draw. I mean, I don't pay. There's some people at every game there's some officiating controversy. It's like I don't know how you do that because that just drive you insane. There's some games like today. And the way that started off, where I started to get a little bit annoyed about it. But, I don't know how. I usually don't care that much about officiating. I just thought that was a really wonky way to get a game started and to kind of kill the excitement right away rather than, doing the opposite of just kind of letting them play and letting people be excited, But depending on who you draw as an officiating crew, if you get the Big 12 versus, let's say, the Pac-12 or the Big 10 or however you get around to who you get, it's a different clash of styles, and that's one thing we never even probably had to think about that last year at all. But now this year, you kind of do have to think about it with this team. You do.
They could play physical, and yet they could also play if they had to, if finesse. They could do both, and but they were absolutely they were hammerheads.
There were 7 minutes of the entire tournament where you were like, "Oh, Baylor's having a problem." That was early on in the Villanova game. But I mean, like, early on in that Villanova game, Villanova was kind of giving them problems, and then Davion Mitchell gets one steal, and the floodgates open. Yeah,
it was halftime.
Davion Mitchell gets a steal, and everything changes.
They're calling it stingy down low, and you really only got Flo Thamba at your disposal, not having your full JTT out there. Yeah, that could hurt against the team. It's got a couple of bigs that can do some damage. So, yeah, that'll be something to monitor. Hopefully, they just let them play free though, and don't get too involved in being part of the action itself.
Yeah, Timothy, what I would suggest is they get Flo really angry. Flo plays really well when he's angry. Some guys don't.
Tell them there's champagne bottles somewhere.
Yeah.
By the way, Timothy, I did not know this. This is another thing he's got to deal with. So Iowa loses. He drove to Buffalo to watch him.
Oh, man.
And now having to drive home to Iowa from Buffalo.
All right, look, at least you know how you're getting there.
Stop at a Motel 6, man. Get some rest.
I'll tell you, when you're in Providence, Rhode Island, which is not the easiest place to fly to from Waco, Texas.
You don't just fly to Boston or something like that?
No, I mean, like, especially the way you have to book that week of. Yeah, I could have. That was the problem. And then we had an owner that said book the cheapest thing possible, so I did. And then when I called American Airlines, I said I need to fly out tomorrow instead of on Sunday. And American Airlines goes, that change fee will be $1,800.
Yeah,
and I went, what do you mean? And
it's insane.
I said, am I sitting first class now? They're like, no, same spot.
It should be, if you're flying out early from an event that a lot of people are flying out after the next round. You should. It's like the day after the Super Bowl is just a nightmare. Time, availability, whatever else. But okay. Yeah. Bob Williams, I got whiskey beating my Tigers. Auburn. Bob's got Wisconsin beating Auburn eventually in the tournament. Scotty Beebe, North Carolina might make a lot of shots today than the next game. Baylor better hope that. I mean, Wisconsin looked invincible against Carolina a year ago and didn't even win. And Baylor, what was that, a second-round game against Baylor last year? All right, 254-339-1122, that's the number. Let's go over a couple. We've done the tournament. We will take your calls all the way till 6, 254-339-1122. Paul's got the number. The NFL notes.
I would typically have off the radar, but I don't think any of us planned on that today, so why don't I just rip off some NFL notes coming up next?
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. Armstrong Sims is here, salivating over his North Carolina Tar Heels.
Can he just light his Baylor shirt on fire? Is that what he did?
Yeah, just ripped it up. He's got powder blue underneath. It's Carolina blue underneath. All right, we're at Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue. We will be here Saturday. No matter, we just don't know what time because we'll do a little bit of a pregame, then the game, and I don't know. There might be something we do in the postgame as well. We have Armstrong here. Jack McKenzie is here. Kendall Cowd is here. Also, Paul Catalina, Craig Smoak. I'm David Smoak. This is Sikkim 365 Radio and 365 Sports.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Shorty's Pizza Shack at 12th and Bagby is a homegrown, family-owned and operated must-visit pizza place in Waco. Fantastic pizza by the slice or get the whole pie to share. Great happy hour specials every single day, and it's not just pizza. Great wings. You have to try the Sikkim sauce, chili cheese fries, pizza pillows, and more. Dine in for a great hangout or carry-out. Order online at shortyspizzashack.com or do yourself a favor and bring your crew to the restaurant at 12th and Bagby. Shorty's Pizza Shack. Tell them Paul sent you by.
Three Nations Nations Brewing Company has 16 different beers on draft with a new beer every Friday. It also offers 2 air-conditioned tap rooms, a large indoor beer hall, a second-floor mezzanine offering a great overview of the brewing company and equipment and patio where you can relax under the shade. Plus, you can now experience the new 3 Nations Beer Garden Grill on our shaded patio with socially distanced seating for your enjoyment. Grab a cold beer and enjoy a bite from our freshly prepared and delicious menu. Street tacos, quesadillas, freshly cooked burgers and dogs, and veggie burgers too. State Fair tornado fries, nachos, and so much more, all prepared and cooked on site. So come visit the award-winning 3 Nations Brewing Company on East Vandergrift off I-35 in Carrollton.
Cars priced right both day and night. And rent your car in Texas. Trucks built for you, red, white, and blue. And rent your car in Texas. Cars that zoom with lots of room. And rent your car in Texas. Count on us, a dealer to trust. And rent your car in Waco, Texas.
It's plain and simple. Waco Custom Marketplace is the one-stop shop for what you need for tailgating, from charcoal, cold beer, and wine. And, of course, customize your order with brisket, tri-tip, sausage, wings, smoked pork tenderloin, country-style or pork spare ribs, marinated beef and chicken fajita meat, ground beef and chili, meat, hot dogs, and burgers, buns, seasoning, sauces, chips. There's fresh-baked bread and kolaches every day, breakfast sausage links. And you can also customize your favorite cut of steaks from select, choice, or prime, bacon wrap fillets, ribeyes, New York strips, sirloin, T-bone, and porterhouse. Full service butcher shop includes pork, poultry, beef, chicken, and seafood, serving Waco restaurants and families since 1940. Your one-stop shop for beef, pork, poultry, and seafood needs. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Sikkim 365 Radio. It's time for Craig Smoak's Off the Radar. Brought to you by Pickup Outfitters. Since 1997, we've been outfitting trucks, SUVs, and vans at 220 Lake Air Drive or createacommotion.com.
All right, welcome back to Sikkim 365 Radio, and there you heard the intro for Off the Radar, and typically we would be talking about a lot of stories that are off the radar. Well, that's pretty much everything outside of college basketball today, so we're going to focus on what are probably some major topics on other sports shows today, especially in NFL cities. But for us, it's just a side piece to March Madness. But let's get into it and start off with the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, we kind of mentioned it earlier, but they did make it official today. Lyle Collins, no longer a member of the franchise. Dallas releases a former LSU standout. And, we'll be moving on. And I think it's very clear, guys, that they're going to be drafting some O-linemen coming up here in a couple months. Well, they're going to actually like a month.
Yeah. Think about it.
Change.
Tyron Smith, you don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
Connor Williams, they drafted. He's
since where now? Miami?
Travis Frederick, unfortunately, had to retire. Zach Martin, of course, you got to wonder how many years are left. He's a great one. He plays through the pain, but he's been beat up a little bit, and now Collins is gone.
Yeah, Connor Williams signed with Miami, and look, Connor Williams was a second-round draft pick that didn't get a second contract with the Cowboys. It didn't work out. Penalties too much. He was a big problem last year.
They've had a good job, but they've drafted well, Paul, but that was a bad one.
That was a miss, and usually in the early part they do well and they get guys to second contracts. That one was one that didn't. Lyle Collins was a guy who fell in their lap.
Yeah, that was
a first-round talent.
Christmas gift.
Yeah,
I still think I know all the circumstances. But that was a little bit weird, shady on how that worked out.
It was so strange on how it worked. But then, he got to this year. He had that 5-game suspension. Look, if you look at things, and Jerry Jones is not usually this guy. Usually he's Mr. Second Chance. But this is a year that I do think that they really felt like they missed an opportunity. Amari Cooper didn't get vaccinated, missed a couple of games, and he's on his way out the door. Lyle Collins suspended for 5 games. Terrence Steele fills in for him. they can say it plays really well. A huge jump from last year to this year is an undrafted free agent who they're playing hardly anything to. So
is he as good as he was, or is that just kind of like he had one of those years?
Well, I mean, I think he's been better. Again, you have to see year 2 when, it's now his job to lose and not him just filling in. But, Lyle Collins was something they kind of had to do, and it's weird, but, that's where they're at.
Think about the offensive line. Tyron Smith. They had the veteran, wasn't it? Was it left guard? I forgot his name. Then they had the center with Frederick. They had Zach Martin. And then Lyle Collins, again, a gift from the NFL gods. And now you look up and you don't know how long Tyron can keep playing. And Zach Martin, of course, is a Hall of Famer as well.
Yeah, elsewhere, these next couple of stories are kind of intertwined. But it looks like Deshaun Watson is closing in on a decision of where he is going to play football next. I got to say, I don't know what Deshaun Watson did or did not do when it comes to allegations. I think that now that NFL teams are acting all lovey-dovey with him, it's kind of weird, just given what we just did for the last year in regards to Deshaun Watson. But, hey, he went to court and all that got squared away, I guess. So now he's in the good graces of everybody who wants him to be their quarterback now. And was totally innocent and, whatever. But he's coming down to making a decision. Some think it could even happen today. I don't know. But one team he's not going to be going to is the Cleveland Browns, as apparently he let Cleveland know that he is not interested. And right now, that kind of leaves the Saints and the Falcons as the two most likely teams for him to play for next year. Obviously, in-division rivals. Sucks for Matt Rule and the Carolina Panthers. And I hate to say it, but that might be like one of the final nails in the coffin, unfortunately, for Matt Rule, is just their inability to have a regular starting quarterback that fans can embrace and be excited about. And then they had basically like a year's run-up to Deshaun Watson rumors. Like, they were rumored last year to be involved, and they're not even going to finish amongst the finalist group.
I just don't know
they were 3-0 last year, and Darnold was playing pretty well, wasn't he?
I just don't know how the Falcons can make it happen. Here's the thing about the salary cap, and this is also
not true.
Piss off Cowboy fans. Matt Ryan just reduced his salary cap number, which was the biggest in league history. And you would think that he would be immovable, but now they're going for Deshaun Watson, whose cap number is going to be $35 million, and they're going to have to find a trading partner, which they will, for Matt Ryan. But I don't know how they can make that happen. Obviously, they know how to, but the salary cap is kind of not real.
No, of course not. And that's what frustrates Cowboys fans, not only this year, but in recent years. Now, sometimes they've been able to not overspend. Yeah. The salary cap it's not. I always thought that eventually, and maybe it is, like a credit card. You don't have to pay the $14,000 or $1,400 bill. But if you don't, what happens?
Yeah, interest.
Interest. And the NFL, at some point, that's going to come due, but they've built in so many ways you can get out of it that it's
listen, you can just do the thing where there's people in the world who've done this, where they just get credit cards and pay the minimum balance the rest of their life, and you'll never find me.
Yeah,
I'll die, and
you get another one.
Yeah, it's just how it goes. But yeah, I don't know how they can do it, but I do think that if I'm the Saints and I have Michael Thomas coming back and Deshaun Watson and potential to sign some other playmakers with Alvin Kamara, who I know
Sean Payton have retired.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He can't undo it now.
If he knew he could have Deshaun Watson, would he have walked out?
Well, maybe he thought he could anyway.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So Andrew Brandt said a team acquiring Deshaun Watson would inherit his $35 million salary, but that will be reduced with the pending suspension of what he believes will be at least 6 games. With a 6-game suspension, if that's what the NFL were to do, then the new team would have only a 22.65 cap. So that alone, if he were to be suspended 6 games, would take nearly $13 million off the cap of his expected cap number. So that's part of how it can work.
I cannot imagine he will not be at least suspended for just the protection of the shield, just because they don't like these stories, no matter what we know.
Yeah, I got to move on here because all these other things are interconnected here. Okay. So Deshaun Watson is apparently told Cleveland, I'm not interested, and he's looking at the Saints, he's looking at the Falcons, Panthers to a far lesser extent, it appears at this point. Panthers fans, and I don't know, maybe he flat out said he didn't want to play there either. I haven't seen that, but I just saw the resignation on the part of many Panthers fans. So why this matters for others is obviously, if Deshaun Watson's back in the league and playing starting quarterback, that's going to have a domino effect. But the fact that he told Cleveland no is very interesting because Cleveland has so badly screwed up their relationship with Baker Mayfield in their pursuit of Deshaun Watson that yesterday we were sitting here talking about that letter that he wrote, Baker Mayfield, basically his goodbye to Cleveland, Ohio, and thinking the whole time that they clearly want Deshaun more than they want me. So whatever it was that led him to write that letter, he writes that letter, and then today you get the news Deshaun Watson tells Cleveland, no, I'm not interested any longer. So what's Cleveland supposed to do? Hey, Baker,
call Atlanta.
Come on down. And so that's leading to a little bit of talk about, what happens there now? Where does Baker Mayfield go? Because he's probably not going to be in Cleveland. So is that Indianapolis? Is that Carolina? Where does he end up fitting? So there's a domino effect from Deshaun Watson and the decision that he makes. But no matter what he does, but he's already made one in Cleveland with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, he's gone. He can't come back from that now, right?
Well, yeah, and the thing is the Browns have said that they're not going to honor his trade request, but we'll see how that goes.
They'll honor his trade request if they can use it, if he can go somewhere else to make him happy and they get what they want.
Exactly. Here, count me among the group of people who I'm not completely out on Baker Mayfield yet. I was really impressed the guy played with a torn labrum in his left shoulder this year. I know it's not his throwing shoulder, but, man, that's a painful injury. I think if you have, and I think Kevin Stefanski proved it. Now, part of the reason they might be done with Baker Mayfield is just Baker might be kind of a lot to deal with. He's got a big personality, but I think if you have the right offense around Baker Mayfield, you can win games with that guy.
He's better than at least a half of the NFL, right?
Yeah, he's got a lot of detractors, and some of it's for just his personality or his attitude, and then some of it is his play. I mean, he's not like some superstar, as far as his play goes. He can flash that, but he hasn't become that. So another domino, or not really a domino effect of Deshaun Watson and apparently being down to two teams. But we know Baker wants out of Cleveland now. And Cleveland apparently doesn't really want Baker. So something's got to happen there and affect that quarterback situation. But the Falcons being one of the other teams that were, apparently among the two finalists for Deshaun Watson, well, their superstar tight end Kyle Pitts went on Twitter at one point while all this scuttlebutt was going on a couple hours ago and said it's about to get scary in Atlanta. And so what do you think everybody thought that meant?
No, not
They're
good.
getting Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
And he deleted the tweet, and then he came back a little while later and quote tweeted Ian Rappaport's tweet that said the Falcons are signing cornerback Casey Hayward to a 2-year, $11 million contract, some key veteran help in the secondary, and he quotes that and he goes, this is what I was talking about. My dog's back home. And I'm like, all right.
Good catch.
I don't think anybody's believing him. I don't think anybody's believing him.
Get rid of the evidence. This is what I was talking about, okay?
Yeah, so that's got people kind of going, maybe that means Atlanta's in the driver's seat or, what have you, but we'll see. We'll see sometime very soon.
Deshaun Watson was a ball boy for the Falcons growing up.
There you go.
And Arthur Blank actually have a relationship. Arthur Blank, wise enough. And I've met the man one time at the NCAA tournament. He was very friendly. And it doesn't surprise me that he would remember a ball boy from 10 years ago.
No.
That's
He's
how
got
he
a
is.
Gil Brandt mind.
Yeah, he does.
The Rams, they probably don't get enough credit for how well they've drafted. We always just pay attention to the fact they've got like 6 future Hall of Famers on their roster that are still relatively in their prime. But they did make a move today in free agency, signing wide receiver Allen Robinson. 3 years, $46.5 million deal for Allen Robinson, who gets $30.7 million guaranteed. So Matthew Stafford's got another weapon, and you've already got Cooper Kupp, and you got Robert Woods, and you don't know what's going to happen with Odell Beckham. That's one thing that we don't know, where Odell Beckham's going to play next year. So is this to help replace that? Is this just a move they would have made regardless? That's another one of those. What effect does this might have? So, big signing there for Allen Robinson and the Super Bowl champs.
Robert Woods will be back next year, for them. Bobby Trees, as they call him. And so it'll be interesting to see. But they've got he's coming off an ACL, so is OBJ. So smart move by the Rams to get Allen Robinson.
Yeah, that was a good pickup for them. Fletcher Cox, longtime veteran, released today by the Eagles. Although they are looking at potentially bringing him back into the fold. Obviously, you'd have to get some contract, negotiations going. It's all about the money, the release, but he's been around a long time, so that was kind of notable for the Philadelphia franchise. And there's a lot of other stuff swirling, but I'll leave it with that for right now.
No, the Fletcher Cox, he can play. Now, he's kind of is he Tyron Smith as a defensive lineman, or even more active?
Maybe even more active, but he's tailed off the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's getting older.
He's getting older.
Yeah, it's a position of just physicality.
For him, I hope that he can go to a place where he can kind of be a rotational player.
I'd like to see him stay in Philadelphia. I wish they could bring him back.
He might.
He could. He's just going to have to make less money.
Yeah.
And, that's the eye of the beholder thing. Some guys are all about doing whatever to help the team, and some guys are like, no, I want every penny. So we'll see if that Philadelphia loyalty comes into play there. But, yes, he could, in fact, return. But that's going to kind of do it. A little NFL news and notes.
Lots of big names in there. Coming up next, Chuck Cooper's team called that game. Baylor was at the game. Baylor, Norfolk State, and also North Carolina Marquette right now. Carolina up 28, 3 minutes into the second half. It's been a blowout almost from the beginning. But he also called the Mavericks' dramatic win against Brooklyn, with Dinwiddie again hitting a shot to win the game. Luka being Luka. Chuck Cooper's team joins us next on Sikkim 365 Radio.
Ram Truck Month is here, and it's all about the championship drive as our hometown teams march towards another exciting championship drive. And so can you in your new vehicle from Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Waco. Shop for power, performance, and reliability with the brands that bring you what you want to drive. Come in today and see our selection of new 2022 trucks, SUVs, and cars. It's time to take home the trophy from Allen Samuels in Waco. Shop the huge inventory of new car and truck inventory in stock today.
Come by. Let's be friends.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist's office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine, Lakeshore Drive at North 19th Street in Waco is a hidden gem. They've got a great selection of spirits, wine, and the most extensive selection of craft beer in Waco in their gorgeous walk-in fridge. And they have an amazing array of high-end bourbons like Pinhook, Weller, Buffalo Trace, Brush Creek, Hotel, Garrison Brothers, Thomas S. Moore, Hooten Young, and Bardstown. Great customer service and a convenient and speedy drive-through window. Riverbend Liquor and Wine. Find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Stepping into a new pair of boots is great, but stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can also add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. There are more than 150 occupational specialties to help them find the best fit for their future. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Welcome to Sikkim 365 Radio, live from Railhead Smokehouse in Fort Worth.
Kenjo, good feed, and there is Thamba.
Our coverage of the NCAA tournament is brought to you by Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, Automatic Chef and Canteen, Edward Jones Investments, IdealMRI.com, Marco's Pizza, The Nichi Group, Pioneer Steel and Pipe, Southwest Sports Medicine, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, Waco Custom Marketplace, and the Willis Law Firm.
Baylor wins the tip, and Meyer launches and buries one to start it, and the Bears on top.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
It is getting crowded. It has been at Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue on Montgomery Street, right down the road from Dickey's Arena. What a beautiful facility. Chuck Cooperstein was there earlier. Of course, North Carolina is hammering Marquette by 29 right now. Chuck also did the broadcast, Nets and Mavericks. What a game that was. Craig Smoak, Paul Catalina, and David Smoak. Coop, let's start with what you've seen today. Richmond pulls off the biggest first banger. Georgia State giving Gonzaga everything they need. Carolina looks incredibly impressive. Your thoughts about the first sessions?
Well, with Iowa, the thing that it's, again, another 5-12 upset.
Yep.
And the thing that, of course, I didn't figure on, which you should always figure on, is the 5 seed that comes in as a 5 seed as red hot like Iowa was. At some point, that team is not going to be able to sustain it. And oftentimes it happens in that first game. And so it was for Iowa today. And I hate it because I really want to see more Keegan Murray. I love watching him play. But he's gone. And, Chris Mooney is a terrific coach and knew he was going to have him ready, and they did. I love Baylor. I love how they played today. Just love how they got into it, never letting off the state to even think that they were going to have a chance to win the game. And Carolina's playing great right now. They're shooting it great. They're shooting their three-pointers out of sight. They made 11 in the first half. But as is the case with Carolina, you know what? You can get a game like this, or you can get a game like they played against Duke the first time they played against them, where they were not even in the game, and it was over in about 4 minutes. If Carolina is on their game, Saturday could be very interesting with Carolina and Baylor. But I have more faith in Baylor keeping it together than Carolina does. So we'll see. And I'm surprised that Gonzaga is struggling. I love their team, but there is kind of that funny mix with Holmgren and Timmy. It doesn't always seem comfortable. I think they'll get their act going here in the second half. At least I saw a little bit before it came down to this quiet spot to talk to you. And it looked like they were starting to pick things up. But, they're a great scoring team. They average 86 a game. I know that Georgia State could hold them to a 35 in the first half. That's pretty good, and maybe a bit of nerves for Gonzaga. I know they've had that in the past. The first game has been a nervy game for them, at least for a while. But I have a feeling they're going to figure that out, too.
Chuck, is this North Carolina team, though? I mean, the way that they've played the last stretch down the season is almost, can we forget about some of those early mess-ups they had because they've been so locked in lately?
Well, yeah, but then they got blown out by Virginia Tech in the quarters, right? The ACC quarters. Right? They got handled. They lost by 20. And now, granted, Virginia Tech went on, or that was in the semis, and they went on. Virginia Tech went on and beat Duke in the finals and won the tournament. But again, it was a 20-point game. So, I mean, again, it seems to be really a feast or famine deal for them. But they've got the OUX Brady Manick able to spread the floor as a 5. If Thamba's matched up on him, is he able to pull him away from the basket, or is he going to be is Thamba going to be matched with Baycott and deal with that? And obviously, look, if Caleb Love is shot out of sight here in the first half, he's been great. So it's intriguing just because you don't know what you're going to get from Carolina. You do know, for the most part, what you're going to get from Baylor.
Chuck, did you have much of an opportunity to watch Michigan and Colorado State? I mean, the Richmond upset's the one that everybody's going to be talking about right now, but, I mean, that was an 11-seed Michigan over a 6-seed Colorado State. Maybe the name value doesn't make it seem like as much of an upset, but they doubled them up there basically in the second half.
Yeah, I didn't. You know what? I didn't get to see much of that game. I listened to a lot of the first half of the game driving over to Fort Worth, and it seemed like Colorado State was pretty well in control of things, and having things go their way. But when you have a big like like Dickens, like that Michigan has, you can play through him, and it's not that Michigan is untalented, but Michigan also is one of those teams that they didn't play very well at the end of the year, and. It could be somewhat questioned whether or not they even belonged in the field, let alone not even have should they have played in the play-in game instead of Rutgers last night. But listen, they obviously delivered in the second half, and let's see what happens with them going forward. But I'm intrigued now. Mostly right now for Saturday with Baylor and Carolina, and just what that all means, because again, Carolina is the X factor here. I think we know what Baylor's going to be. Baylor got itself in the tournament, and right from the get-go, they're ready to go. What type of Carolina team are they going to get?
Coop, do you have a special, separate dictionary for Luka Doncic? Do you have like words that you have to kind of now go make? And I know that Dinwiddie made the shot, but it was a pass from a star that could have tried to take the shot. Your thoughts about what the Mavericks are doing right now?
Well, I think I said a couple weeks ago, I'm paid to describe, and I'm rapidly running out of ways to describe what I'm seeing. What Luka is doing is ridiculous. He's leading the league in scoring since January 28th. He's averaging 10 rebounds a game in that time, and 8.5 assists. And he's making the right play. He's playing under control, and he brings the game to him. Nobody's going to speed him up. Nobody's going to make him do things that he doesn't want to do. And it's to his credit that he trusts his teammates enough that if he makes a play and they're where they're supposed to be, and he passes them the ball, that those guys are going to make a shot and are going to make them look good. And that's pretty well what we've seen here now for the better part of 2 months. I don't know that if people realize this, but only the Phoenix Suns have a better record than the Mavericks since December 31st. I mean, it's pretty hard to believe when you consider how they started the season, but they're that team right now, and there is some magic around that team. They won 15 games this year when trailing by 10. They were down 14, in the first minute of the fourth quarter last night, but they don't get rattled, and they just keep playing, and they just keep coming, and they're making things happen to the point where if it's late in the game, clutch time inside of 5 minutes, they just believe right now they're going to win, and they're shocked when they don't. And given where they were at the beginning of the season in those situations to where they are now, it is nothing short of remarkable.
Coop, would this year, if New York does not change their restrictions, would be one of the rare years where you want to play a team like Brooklyn actually in their stadium because you're guaranteed not to see Kyrie Irving?
Well, it's definitely better when you don't have to play against Kyrie. I know from the Mavericks standpoint, he had a 47-point game against them with Boston. He had a 45-point game against them last year with Brooklyn. He's an incredible offensive player, and we all saw that. Another example of that on Tuesday night when we went for 60. It makes it a whole lot easier, and let's face it, if Kyrie is playing last night, there's no way the Mavericks deployed the defense that they did and going with the double team on Durant every time he caught the ball to make him give up the ball and then ultimately have him become a volume shooter as opposed to being the arguably most efficient scorer that this game has ever seen. Yes, it would be it's a lot easier to play against Brooklyn without Kyrie, but Durant still has so much firepower. And as we saw against the Nets on Sunday, he went for 53 on Sunday. It's not like Kevin Durant has forgotten how to score. But at the same time, you give credit to the Mavericks for the defense they deployed to kind of change the game up a bit, force other players to have big games. And let's face it, Goran Dragic had his best game of the season last night. Bruce Brown has been playing great for the Nets really over the last month, but you know what? You'll take your chances with Bruce Brown as opposed to taking your chances with Kevin Durant, right? I mean, there are just some things you're going to have to live with, and they did. And listen, fortunately, there's a last-second shot that was made that makes this all look a whole lot better.
Coop, kind of sticking with the Nets in a way. Spencer Dinwiddie was a Brooklyn Net just a couple years back. Ends up going to the Wizards, and then, of course, comes over to Dallas in the Kristaps Porzingis trade just back in February. He's been on the team a little over a month, back-to-back game winners. What have been your impressions of Spencer Dinwiddie in a Mavs uniform?
He's made me do a complete 180 on the trade, because at the time I was not a big fan of the trade. I wanted to see the whole Doncic-Porzingis thing play out and see if it could really work. But the Mavericks decided clearly that availability is the most important ability, and KP wasn't nearly available enough. And look, even after he got traded, he still didn't play for about 3 weeks. So, and then Dinwiddie was having a terrible year, and he's always been kind of a volume scorer, and a volume player. But now, I mean, he's playing with incredible efficiency, and obviously he's playing with brass cojones, and he's giving you that playoff vibe that every team that believes that they have a chance to do something in the playoffs has to have. And he's just done it in a huge way, and he's certainly given Jason Kidd a whole lot to think about as far as his rotation going forward. When Reggie Bullock gets back from the personal reasons that he's missed the last couple of games, does Reggie start? Does he go back in the starting lineup where he's played better than he's played coming off the bench? Or does he bring, does he keep Dinwiddie in the starting lineup? He's been so good. And that doesn't even begin to account for what happens when and if Tim Hardaway gets healthy, which will probably be in time for the first round of the playoffs. How is he deployed? How does that all work? With Josh Green's growth, too. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of things going on that have to be considered. But the bottom line right now is that the Mavericks have a lot of things going in their favor, not the least of which is that intangible that they really believe that every night they're going on the floor that they're going to win. That there's no negativity around that program right now.
Did they believe that when Porzingis was on the roster?
I'm not sure. I mean, there was a maintenance issue with Porzingis. Right. There really was. And, just from the get-go, this season when Jason Kidd was saying, we want to get Porzingis playing like he played with the Knicks. Well, how he played with the Knicks was a lot of touches, a lot of mid-range touches. And without him there, the Mavericks offense has definitely changed to where it looks more like the offense of 2 years ago, which was, at the time, the most efficient offense in the history of the NBA. And it's not that Porzingis played badly either. I mean, the guy averaged nearly 20 and 8. I mean, and 2 blocks. It's really hard to do. There aren't a whole lot of people on this earth who could do that in the NBA. But it just didn't work as efficiently and with regularity as they wanted it to. And so, you make the change, and then you go on this huge run, and a lot of these games have been road games for Dallas, and they've been able to succeed in those. And it's just all really, really good right now. And you know what? And from what I've seen and having looked at the boxes every night up Porzingis, he seems to be playing pretty well in Washington. But again, their team isn't very good either. So there's something to that, too.
Gonzaga's popped that lead open to 14, 7 minutes left against Georgia State. You are a sports junkie, an encyclopedia. You love it. You can't get enough of it. A lot of us are like that. Well, it's great to have Dickies Arena in Fort Worth hosting this NCAA the first weekend. How cool is that for the Fort Worth area?
It's fantastic. It's, again, when you build something like this, you build it in the hope that it will grow and become, that venue that people want to come to. David, this is the first time I've ever been in here. I've never been here before, and just have not had the opportunity to get here.
Yep.
Whether it be for a concert or whatever basketball games we might have been here. But it's a terrific building, a terrific facility. It's smaller than the American Airlines Center, so in many ways you feel like you're a lot closer to the floor. It's really cool, and I'm really happy for Fort Worth. I love Fort Worth. I love coming over here and spending time here. And the only thing that I'm disappointed in, quite frankly, is that they had 2 1-16 games of their 4. Because generally those games are not competitive. Usually the 8-9 games might be more competitive, but clearly Carolina and Marquette is not. You have to hope that Creighton and San Diego State will be tonight. But overall, I can't imagine why, if Dickies wants to hold first and second rounders again, that the NCAA won't consider them. I know Dallas loves having it as well, and it's just great for the region to be able to have two facilities like that can bring in events like this, and whether that's college basketball tournaments or concerts or what have you, multi-purpose buildings that taxpayers have paid their money into, and there is a tangible result that comes from that.
Chuck, thank you. I know you had a long night. Great call. And appreciate you being where you are.
I got one question I want to fit in here, Chuck. You being a Florida guy, I was curious your thoughts on Georgia coming and poaching Mike White, and where do you think the Gators turn?
Okay, this is now me speaking as a Gator.
Okay.
And not necessarily as a media member, although that it still kind of applies. It happened on Sunday, and as I tweeted at the time, I said, I didn't think this day could get better. Between Selection Sunday, the Mavericks winning at the Horn, and then Mike White left Florida to go to Georgia. Mike White's time came and went, really about 4 years ago. It was well past time, and I think he knew it, and basically he kind of did a shock of more. He got out of town before he got. And, he's a really nice guy. He runs a clean program, and there's a lot to be said for that in this time where there is not a whole lot of cleanliness in college basketball. But I do think that his coaching, his in-game coaching, the fact that players oftentimes were not developed, did not get any better, they were very frustrating to watch. There was a lot of street ball in the game. He couldn't get it out of them. And couldn't get them to play cohesively. They could play hard. They would always play hard. They just didn't always play well. And so I'm like anybody else. I mean, I'm curious. Are they going to bring Anthony Grant back from Dayton, who was with Billy Donovan as the Florida program was built into a two-time national champion back in 06 and 07? Do they go after, say, an Andy Enfield from USC, or I think he may have just agreed to a new contract that would keep him from leaving. But Andy Enfield really got his start at Florida Gulf Coast, knows the area. They need a guy who can sell the program and play an entertaining style of basketball. And a lot of the guys that you see being mentioned are guys that are kind of like Mike White. Guys that have, maybe gotten to the NCAA tournament, maybe even won a game in the NCAA tournament, but never got to the second weekend. And the problem that Florida has right now is that a lot of teams in the SEC have now decided to care about basketball. Where for a long time, after Billy built the program, it was Florida and Kentucky, and you always knew that last game of the regular season was always going to be Florida and Kentucky. Well, Florida doesn't deserve to be in that game right now, and we saw that this year when Kentucky just mauled them in the final game of the season. So you've got Tennessee's moved past them. Even you can even look at you look at the top 8 of the league. I mean, Florida was the second team in the league, really, behind Kentucky for a long time. Now, they may be the 6th or 7th best team in the league, and that's a pretty big hole to climb out of. That somebody's going to have to come in and try to compete with Kentucky and Cal, and try to compete with Bruce Pearl and Rick Barnes. And I mean, you think about the coaches who are in that league. It's fantastic. I mean, it's absolutely the best it's ever been. So this is a huge hire for Scott Strickland, and I really hope he gets it right.
Hey, Coop, thank you, buddy. You're the best. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate you. Take care.
Chuck Cooperstein, voice of the Mavericks, called the end of that game.
Tore himself away from the nail-biter for us.
Yeah, 83-53. Carolina has just continued to coast. Gonzaga opening up now. Can on God, I just went blank.
Georgia State.
Georgia State. That game's getting out of control now, up by 22. Just like that, they've gone boat racing on Georgia State. So, of the games, if you've now joined us, we're live at Railhouse Smokehouse Barbecue. We will be back. I said Railhead. Smokehouse Barbecue. We'll be back here Saturday, depending on when Baylor and North Carolina tip off, because Carolina's going to win by whatever they want. We'll be back here on Saturday, maybe early in the afternoon, we don't know. And we'll do at least an hour or two leading up to Baylor and their game with North Carolina. Robert Beekler, remember Robert, coming in from Tulsa, just sent a text to us. Hello, gentlemen. Nice work, gentlemen. And he took a picture from behind us. He's here behind us. I said, who's the bald-headed guy? Thought it was you.
It's not me yet.
He can be whoever you want him to be.
It's not me yet.
Craig's wearing a hat, so it's not him.
I always wear a hat.
I know.
And it's not because I'm bald, but it's just more of a comfort, and I'm trying to hide thing than anything else, quite frankly. It makes me feel comfortable being on camera, having some kind of a... If it was up to me, I'd have like a Lucha Libre mask on when I'm doing this show. I'm serious.
We could go, you know what Kanye wore to the Super Bowl?
Oh,
yeah. We're going to break, and I think we'll come back and replay.
I got to ask
Adam
Paul
Flagler
about, like, Freddie Freeman and a couple of these baseball things that have happened as well. So if we want to fit that in or not fit that in,
next.
No
it
break?
doesn't matter.
No, we got to take a break.
What's he saying?
Can't replay.
Oh, we can't run the replay. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
That's fine. Glad you said that. I'm clear. Well, Adam Flagler, it's up. I'm sure it's up somewhere. And he was fantastic. Thanks to Baylor, David Kay, and Don Rogers for making that happen. Let's break and come back with Freddie Freeman. The Dodgers are stacking up their lineup yet again. Among a couple of other notes, we'll update the games. Baylor today, 85-49. They win. They beat Norfolk State. Matthew Meyer, 22. Jeremy Sohan, was it 17? 5 players in double figures, and now they'll play North Carolina, and they are rolling Duke. I mean, just toying with them. It's just a matter if they get 100.
Well, they're going to score. Well, maybe not. Yeah, the question now to make this game actually fun, will Carolina get 15 more points in the last 5+ minutes to hit 100, and will they end up winning by 40? They're up by 30 right now.
Yeah, it's a complete, absolute.
Roy Williams is there.
Kicking.
Should Shaka Smart let Roy come down and help him out for the last few minutes?
I got to tell you, in this game, I think Marquette may have lost their composure a little bit. I think they themselves thought this would. Here we go, the chant.
Yeah, there we go.
There's
In
fans
Fort
here
Worth.
at Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue, where they normally host the TCU coaches shows. Thanks to Charlie Guerin for letting us in today.
By the way, Shaka Smart has not won a postseason game in a long time. That's why he's not at Texas. The last postseason game I believe he won was an absolute woodshed ass-kicking of Florida State in the
really?
Sweet 16.
Yeah, when he was at Virginia Commonwealth?
Yeah. Yes.
Great crowd here. Robert Beekler, Ashley Hodges here. Jack just showed up a minute ago. Hey, we appreciate it. Again, Charlie Guerin, you're fantastic. He's in Houston today. Hopefully we'll be able to see him on Saturday. This is Sikkim 365 Radio and 365 Sports.
Baylor University is where lights shine bright. So, let there be light. Let there be roommates and teammates, scholarship and championships. Let there be fresh starts and new traditions, fast friendships and lasting impacts. Let there be laughter. Let there be joy. Let there be light. Baylor University, where lights shine bright.
Brad Boozer, Boozer's Jeweler, joins us on Sikkim 365 Radio. I've seen people walk in there. First of all, you have so much to show, whether necklaces, bracelets, rings. You have the watches. You have numerous great watches as well. You really have pretty much everything, don't you, when it comes to jewelry?
That's correct. Kind of a one-stop shop and all. And the fact that we have the 2 jewelers on staff, the repairs we can do, the fixing of your jewelry, and the remaking of any jewelry has really set us apart from anybody else.
You want to know why they're successful? Brad Boozer, the owner of Boozer's Jewelers on the corner of Valley Mills and Lake Air in Waco.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T has board-certified physician consultations, will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
There are 26 letters in the alphabet, over 600,000 words in the dictionary, and just 3 of them said together can change everything. Let's order pizza. Those 3 words lead to dough made from scratch and 3 fresh signature cheeses that blanket golden crust in a heavenly melt on Marco's Pizza that'll blow your mind. So visit Marcos.com to order and stop by Marco's Pizza in Belmead, China Spring, Woodway, and soon to open in Robinson. Marco's. Pizza lovers get it.
Welcome back to Sikkim 365 Radio.
The 5 o'clock hour is brought to you by Edward Jones and financial advisor Cam Heathcott. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
We are back. I went to go refresh this Diet Coke in this great cup. Life is too short to live in Dallas. And I mean, the Baylor fans are here in force. Robert Beekler, who came in from Tulsa, met Paul Bloss.
He said, Robert told me that he listens to us. He can't really listen to us when he's in the OR. But I would love it if you're a surgeon, if you would listen to us while you're operating, be like, listen, this guy's fine. You won't believe what they just said.
Yeah, I know. You know, normally they probably listen to Mozart or whatever it might be. All right, a couple of scores to update, and we'll get into Freddie Freeman and much more. North Carolina, 87-59, destroying Marquette. We've said that from the time they tipped the game off. Also, Gonzaga now up 21. This game was competitive. And then Gonzaga now up 21 with 3:39 to go. Michigan won earlier, beat Colorado State. Providence beat South Dakota State. Memphis beat Boise State by 11. Tennessee crushed Longwood, 88-56. Richmond, 12 against a 5. You heard Coop talking about a 12 and a 5 seed when they come into the tournament red hot. Some of the history there, Richmond 67-63 over the Big Ten Conference tournament champions. And then also Baylor again, as we mentioned, beating Norfolk State 85-49. So Gonzaga's going to end up with 100. Yeah. It was like 35-33 at halftime. They're going to score 100 as they're at 90. Now,
at least
one of the other
people
stories,
forget that you almost lost.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see if there's anything on the chat room. Yeah, Tennessee and UT. Tennessee, Barnes looking really good. Brandon Avance, a hoodie to church?
Huh?
I don't know what is that a reference to. Craig loves to wear. He's cold-blooded. He's cold-blooded. Nothing, just asking you that. Happy to see Texas in the bracket this year as well. Gone are the days of Rick Barnes. 14 straight tournament appearances, a Final Four, 3 Elite Eights. And you're right, now he's doing really, really well right now at Tennessee. Now, we know about Atlanta. They had Olsen. They picked up Olsen from the A's. They signed him to a $170-80 million deal. So Freddie Freeman, who's a huge Atlanta fan, a fan of Atlanta, they love him. He's now the Dodgers?
Yeah, and this is their lineup, guys, which is going to be nuts. It's Mookie Betts. I love you, Mookie Betts. Freddie Freeman, Trey Turner, Will Smith at catcher, Max Muncy, Cody Bellinger, Justin Turner, Chris Taylor, and A.J. Pollock. And that's not even mentioning Gavin Lux, one of the most highly thought of young players who's 24, will be coming off the bench that they didn't even have to give up for any of these people that they've gotten, including Mookie Betts, who was the best player in the American League when they went and got him. Yeah, the Dodgers are stacked. They got Kershaw back. They still have their great pitching staff outside of that. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do down the stretch now. Their division always seems to get tougher. Look, the Padres aren't going anywhere. Tatis is out for a little while. The Giants were really good last year.
He's out 3 months, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to be out for 3 months. But when he comes back, he's going to be pissed and ready to go. It's nuts. I can't.
How do they handle that? Because he's admitted of having wrecks on a motorcycle. Well, you know that's built into his contract.
Well, I think is it Bob Melvin's their manager that said that his motorcycle days are over.
Okay, yeah, and he's lucky. He's lucky it did not. His motorcycle didn't create his career being over. Well, because he's so fun to watch.
What did Jeff Kent say when he had a motorcycle accident that he fell off a ladder?
Yeah,
and they're
or
like,
something. Yeah,
man, you're on a road rash for falling off a ladder.
So, I mean, it's a good deal for the Dodgers. 6 years, $162 million. That sounds crazy.
Not bad. No.
Actually, I went and looked last night, and I thought, wow, you made the decision. That's good money. That's great money. It's more than I'll ever see in my lifetime. She also chose to go to California. And y'all realize because of their taxes, he's actually going to pay more in taxes than he makes from that contract each year.
So 160 whatever, he might end up paying 80.
It's like $27 million a year, and I'm sure it's like, 1 year's more knows. But let's say on average it's $27 million. Based on what I was reading last night, he would be paying $15 million in taxes and making $12 million out of that 27.
See, I don't.
Y'all are aghast.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even believe that, right?
I can't believe that either. I know that there are places in California that are freaking gorgeous. I don't like the political atmosphere there. That's fine. That's just me. But there's some beautiful places. Would I love to have a place in Malibu? Hell yes.
Oh, yeah.
But
that'd be my dream.
To make that kind of money, you may say, yeah, but he's still going to have 12 or 15 million.
Sure.
You might need that to live in California.
Well, yeah, you do. I mean, like, sometimes I wonder, you see like actors and you're like, man, they must be doing really well. And they would be doing really well if they lived in, like anywhere else.
Like some of them moved to Montana.
Yeah, exactly. But that's part of the reason that half of the movie industry is going to Atlanta, where it's not exactly cheap to live, but it's still cheaper. And there's at least a chance in Georgia that the tax outlook is going to change from time to time.
Yep.
Sometimes it's going to go up, sometimes it's going to go down, which is how really life should be based on necessity. California has done nothing but go up.
It's like gas prices. Dennis, greetings from Wilmington, North Carolina, from Dennis Moore. Please, Baylor, beat the Tar Heels on Saturday so I can wear my BU hoodie. Oh, my BU hoodie to church on Sunday. That was the hoodie remark from Brandon.
I got
and Dennis said, if they do win, I promise you, if you send us a picture on the text line, 254-339-1122, I will post that up on Monday's show.
Yeah. Also,
first Baylor's got to take care of business.
I see enough T-shirt and jeans pastors now again. You can wear a hoodie.
So I finally found that site where you can calculate taxes in different states. You just plug in the number in the state and annual or whatever. So let's say $27 million annually in California for Freddie Freeman. He's going to pay nearly $10 million in federal income tax. That's just right off top.
Yeah.
$10 million's off the account. Another $3.6+ million in state income tax, which that's $3.6 he wouldn't be paying in Texas or in Florida or some other states. So that alone, just federal income and state income taxes, is over $13 million of his yearly salary. Plus another nearly $9,000 in Social Security, another $630,000 in medical care, another $1,500 for state disability. His total tax, $14,228,000.04, and he would net out of that $27 million, $12.7 million.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look,
that's wild.
He's going to pay the same federal income tax in every state, but that $3.6 million, that's a pretty damn nice spread here in Texas.
So if you're in California and you go to if you go to New York, you pay there. If you play a 4-game series, you're being taxed. I remember when all that started happening. I never realized that was the case before.
So you remember when Derek Jeter got in a little bit of trouble because he was playing for the Yankees, but his residence was in Tampa, another state without state income taxes. He was trying, and like, I think the Yankees were trying to pay people through, like, hey, our home base is in Tampa, so we're going to do this because, again, the taxes in New York are exorbitant, just like California, especially New York City.
Yeah. So I mean, if he had played for the Astros or Rangers, he'd be making $4 million more based on that same contract. But hey, he's a California kid, though, right? And he's also going to be a part of one of the greatest lineups, like preseason-wise, ever assembled in baseball. So that's the draw, and he's already made some money. So I get it, but I just found that that blew my mind when I just happened to think, like, I wonder how much he's paying in taxes to go to California. It's like, oh my gosh, it's more than he's actually making. That's insane.
Here are some notes from the great David Kay, covers Baylor Athletic Communications, on Baylor's win against Norfolk State. Baylor's now 21-14 in 14 NCAA tournament appearances. 18-8 under Scott Drew. Why would they have 14? Because they won it one year. Not sure. Baylor's now won 16 straight neutral site games against non-conference opponents, 39-3 against unranked teams the last 2 years, and you would think that as good as they've been. 81-7 over the last 3 years when holding any kind of lead at all in the second half. 55-8 in the last 2 years, the nation's best record by a Power 5 team, and 81-12. The best record of any Power 5 team the last 3 years.
That's pretty salty. And they've won 6 straight NCAA games now because of the seven straight, which I don't know. That's got to be up there in the country. That's got to be the top mark because, I mean, who else has done that? Nobody. So, yeah, they've got the current best win streak. I think the record's like 11 in a row or something like that. So maybe they can flirt with that. But, I mean, as we've seen this entire show, they're going to have their work cut out for them on Saturday potentially.
You can hear in the background, somebody said that the view is getting to be kind of a green. That's because there are a ton of Baylor fans here at Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue.
And Irish people. Or just Irish people for the day.
Or just people that have drank so many beers that they're green.
I would think that you, of all the saints that you could be a fan of, would be a fan of St. Patrick the most.
I'm not Irish.
No, but what St. Patrick did was he banished all the snakes from Ireland.
No, I love him.
Yeah. He didn't do that anywhere else.
What was his first name?
Patrick.
Saint.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick's the first or last name.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like
then he was
Patrick.
Patrick of somewhere, wherever he's from. But
Gonzaga wins at 93-72. They could have gotten to 100. North Carolina 95-63, and Marquette has the ball.
See, they're not going to get to 100.
Nope.
See, that would have been a fun bet to at least make this an entertaining game.
Someone somewhere is going nuts.
Well, yeah, they did that before the game. It was over-under or something like that.
Or somebody in-game props, if they do those, are probably miffed about it right now.
So tomorrow we're going to have to break down North Carolina. We'll get Armstrong's buddy, who writes Carolina for the Tar Heels, who was on after the win in Cameron Indoor. I mean, I got to tell you, there's going to be a lot of
for an
gnashing of the teeth.
For an 8-9, this is an ass kicking.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, for this to be an even matchup, so to speak, it has not been that way at all. I mean, Marquette just shot a ball off the top of the backboard.
They got guys in that normally would never play.
Well,
and Brady Maddock is going to be a guy that Baylor knows because of his time at Oklahoma. Tough guy, shoots the three well. Baycott, right?
Brady Maddock had a really good first half against Baylor a year ago for Oklahoma, and then after that, it was one of those things where it was like, congratulations on your good work.
Yeah. Hey, tomorrow,
pat him on the head.
The women, Baylor women will be playing at 3 o'clock, open up against Hawaii with Nikki Collin and company, trying to put themselves in position, hosting games on Friday and Sunday in Waco. And so the women tip it off tomorrow as well. One more break, Paul. Do you have a top 5 today?
I do. It's from yesterday. It's Cowboys related.
It's not St. Patrick's Day related?
No, I'm not Irish enough to do anything St. Patrick's Day related.
It's about beer, Paul.
Yeah, I used to think I was, and it turns out I'm far more like French than I am Irish, so I don't feel like I could even do it at this point.
I thought we had a little German-Irish or something like that.
I do. I know I do for sure, but I more French than I thought, actually. Yeah.
Make some noise.
But a little bit of Irish.
Make some noise. There you go. There you go. Hey, I got to tell you, thanks to everybody who's come by. We're not done. We'll come back. You think they're having?
Yeah, that was a little off
some
rhythm
milk
there.
and cookies.
This is
Baylor. There's milk and cookies.
Listen, they've been going since at least 11 o'clock.
Oh, I know.
So, yeah.
You can buy it at that arena over there, plus some of the hard stuff.
Yeah, I know. This is a great atmosphere and a fantastic restaurant, and we can't wait to be back on Saturday, whatever time it might be, based on whenever they decide they'll tip it against North Carolina.
Brady Manick looks like a sketch of someone you saw, like, who was the guy that stole your purse?
Yeah. All right, coming up, Paul Catalina's Top 5. We're live at Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue on Montgomery Street in Fort Worth on a day where Baylor and North Carolina both win easily, and now they'll meet Saturday in the second round. The Sweet 16 to the winner. Sikkim 365 Radio and 365 Sports.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physicians for Baylor Athletics, diagnosing and treating all sports-related injuries, including concussions. These specialists also provide orthopedic services for athletes and non-athletes alike, whether it's knee or shoulder pain, hand or wrist injuries, orthopedic spine care, and even an arthritis and total joint clinic. Trust the doctors Baylor Athletics trusts. Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics wants to get you back in the game.
Automatic Chef Canteen is a full-service micro-market vending and office coffee provider with state-of-the-art vending equipment, a wide variety of products, and offering custom-fitted micro-market vending office coffee solutions for your employee break room. You want a full break room solution and a workplace oasis? Well, Automatic Chef Canteen, locally owned and operated for over 50 years in Central Texas, also includes in-house mechanics on call 24/7 for fast, reliable service and maintenance. Automatic Chef Canteen, 6900 Imperial Drive in Waco, or online at automaticchefcanteen.com.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, everyone. This is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like mortgage lending, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Welcome back to Sikkim 365 Radio. This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55, presented by Champion Salon and Barber. To book your appointment, go to championsalonandbarber.com.
Hey, can I give a quick update?
Sure.
This is from Sports Talk Atlanta. Deshaun Watson, according to his Twitter feed, expected to waive his no-trade clause and join Atlanta. The trade should be announced, you mentioned this, sometime maybe even today within the next few hours.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure. I mean, again, and then now Matt Ryan, if you're the Indianapolis Colts right now and you just sent away Carson Wentz and you can maybe get back Matt Ryan, I'd be all for that. But we'll see. I wonder where Matt Ryan's going to wind up.
Yeah, I'm trying to just make sure sources are sources and not just like dudes playing the game. You know what I mean?
This guy's been pretty good, but again, we'll see. You know, you look for.
Like I legitimately during a commercial break saw a guy go, I'm just going to start NFL rumors and see where they go. And so there's people doing some of that. But yeah, I mean if that's the case, then we're going to see some movement pretty quick. And, yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah. All right, this is I was going to do this yesterday, but I was out sick. Apparently angered the gods. But top 5 Cowboys.
How's your plumbing?
It's
no, at the house.
At the house. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. After it worked out yesterday, it got worked out. Top 5 Cowboys contingency plans for Randy Gregory. I was going to do this yesterday. Obviously didn't get to do it, and it's changed since yesterday because Von Miller comes off the list for the Cowboys. Number 5, sign a low-cost replacement from another team, which is probably going to happen. They need backups anyway, but this is kind of what they've been doing. I mean, and it's kind of boring in what they do. And why the fans are, I mean, in a sense, Stephen Jones is the capologist for the Cowboys. It's just getting hammered by the fans right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that had that little dream scenario of Von Miller and Demarcus Lawrence and, you know, whatever else you wanted to throw into Micah Parsons, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, he's getting hammered, and I'll say they haven't been exactly just sitting on their hands. I mean, they got, you know, a key thing done there with Demarcus Lawrence and figuring that situation out. They've re-signed some guys that they wanted to re-sign, and they got rid of Amari Cooper. So they've been doing stuff. It's just that there's been a whole lot kind of going out or just remaining the same. And that would worry me as a Cowboys fan because, you know, how much can you expect a rookie class to just be that group that puts you over the top? Because that's basically what you're asking them to do if you're not making any moves in free agency, because you're just bringing the same team back, but without Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Would you love to be a fly on the wall?
And without Lyle Collins and without, like, I mean.
Are they, like, and look, whether you have to make the moves or not, I don't think people are mad that people are leaving. It's just when you replace them, are they a better team right now without Amari Cooper, Lyle Collins, and Randy Gregory?
They have more flexibility, that's for sure, but are they a better? No, you can't lose that kind of. But some of them were not matching the contracts they were given.
Okay, you move those out the door, but then what do you do to get better?
Still, I mean, maybe you do some better bang for your bucks.
That's
it may not be star power.
Is a lot of people are impatient, and this is like the first or second week of free agency, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, we're not doing anything." Just give it time.
They can draft a defensive end at 24, but is that person going to have the same kind of impact that Randy Gregory would have had, or can you can't count on another Micah Parsons just to fall to you again? I mean, that, like, he's a once in a generational type talent, it appears, that Micah Parsons is. So yeah, maybe you can draft a George Karlaftis from Purdue that might fall to you there. Maybe even a linebacker like Nakobe Dean from Georgia falls, but can you rely on that? Probably not. I mean, even if you draft one and you expect him to play, is his production going to be Randy Gregory, who really played well towards the middle and end of the year for the Cowboys on defense? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if they can find the Micah Parsons of this year's draft, that would be fantastic. But yeah, I mean, that's basically going to be what they're going to have to do. Yeah. I mean, because anybody you sign off the street is not going to be all that much above average now at this point. They're going to be pretty average players, probably maybe a little bit above, but certainly maybe not what you quite had, or not all that different from what you quite had. So yeah, your difference makers are going to have to come from the draft, and you know, you're just going to have to hope for a lot more success. And they've had some with Will McClay. They've also had some big misses too. So, you know, who knows? But yeah, let's see how it falls. Maybe it'll fall like a Lyle Collins situation. Yeah, you know, where it just falls in their lap.
Yeah, and they just
or Dak Prescott fell in their lap.
Maybe they get somebody who's pretty good. Maybe not glitz and glamour, but pretty good. Get him for a lot less It allows them to do some other things. Who knows about a trade or something else at some point.
Yeah. Number 3, re-sign, which they've done. 2 years, $13 million. Dorrance Armstrong coming back. He's a key rotational player and a really good special teamer. But Dorrance Armstrong, while he's gotten better every year, is not a star.
You know what he needs to do? Terrence Steele needs to go up that next level, right?
And he has every year. Dorrance Armstrong has. Maybe the best player in the NFL right now from Kansas.
Though.
But yeah.
Terrence Steele plays better than you think. He does. I mean, I'm sure Terrence Steele might have been cut if Lyle Collins was okay last year, you know? Or who knows?
Yeah. Number 2, adjust your plan completely, because whatever's the plan been for 25 years hasn't worked. So do something different. A different organizational philosophy. And don't blend them. Pick one and go with it. The reason the Steelers don't have losing seasons, and the reason the Steelers can navigate these things, is their organizational philosophy is the same now as it was in 1977. They adjusted the times, but the organizational philosophy from the top down is the same. Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones like to, have a salad bar mentality when it comes to how they run the team. And look, Bill Belichick, same thing, all the way down. He has the same philosophy. That's what you need for long-term success, not the, this works in New England, and this works in L.A., and this works in Indianapolis, and this worked in Green Bay, so let's do them all. Well, you can't really do them all. You can't be a hodgepodge of everything.
You think that, that story that Stephen Jones told about, he basically almost shoved Jerry up against the wall.
Oh, he grabbed him.
About the Deion Sanders $12.9 million, $9.999 million. You wonder if Jerry, at some point this week, hasn't said, son, we need to talk.
I don't know. And that might come in the form of number 1 here. Sign Bobby Wagner. If you sign Bobby Wagner,
everybody forgives you.
It helps you on the field. Yeah. The fans are happy. Everything. It's going to be fine.
But here's the thing. Are they happy? I know he's good. I know he's tremendous. But are they only happy because it's Bobby Wagner, the name? Or are they happy? Or is that Cowboys fans happy? They're as guilty as anybody about needing the thirst of stars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They are, but I will say this.
But why is he a star? He's a star because he's a good player.
Yeah, but he's also towards you would think, the reason Seattle...
They don't need him for 6 years, though. They need him for hey, plug this hole so we can put this thing over the top and get to a Super Bowl before Jerry dies. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know he's a billionaire, and they can live a long time. Like, Jerry can probably have robot parts if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
But, time waits for no man.
Are there robot hearts? Because that's the one that might be.
Dick Cheney has one.
Boston Dynamics and the robots and how lifelike those things, not as far as their look, but their movements are now.
It's scary.
It's ridiculous.
It's almost like the movies.
Crazy.
Yeah. All right.
It's almost like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Because the moment that it goes bad, it goes bad. I did have a Brittany Griner update.
I was going to. I mentioned that earlier, but I didn't say what it was.
A U.S. State Department official told T.J. Quinn consular officials have not had access to her. We insist the Russian government provide consular access to all U.S. citizen detainees in Russia, including those in pretrial detention, as Brittany Griner is. So that is from the U.S. State Department. And so they're asking Russia to give them some access to her. And I saw a video of her today. I guess she had her hearing or whatever, and they said, no, you're going to be in jail for 2 more months.
Yeah, they pushed back. The prosecuting team said they want to do more investigation. Instead of whatever it is, it's pushed back to now mid-May before there's any type of possibility of whatever the next move might be.
But that is a recent quote there from the U.S. State Department official on Griner from literally the last 10 minutes. So I thought I'd throw that in there at the end. And she did not look happy being in Russian custody, and who would be? But best of luck to her.
We up against the top, but her agent wants everyone to calm down. Don't say too much. They don't want to get this up on the level of where Putin's paying attention.
Exactly.
So right now it's on the level where Putin's little underlings know they have a trump card they can play, and they don't want it to get to where Putin's like, oh, really? Yeah. Here you go. So that's what they don't want people to have hands across America for it.
Armstrong, would you mind taking one more shot of where we are now with the crowd behind us? One more picture with the big crowd behind us. We cannot thank Charlie Garrett enough, the owner of Railhead Smokehouse Barbecue. Brian Estridge, voice of TCU, who's the one that suggested we be here. And I mean, Baylor fans have shown up And now they'll be back on Saturday because North Carolina Baylor will be a round of 32. Winner goes to the Sweet 16. And you have a defending national champions against a blue blood of the blue bloods among the North Carolinas, Dukes, Kansas, Kentuckys, and a couple of others. Paul Catalina, great job. Craig Smoak, great to see you. Craig will be back in studio tomorrow, 101 Elm, and then back here for our shows prior to the Baylor game as well. For Jack McKenzie and Armstrong Sims, Ashley's here. Brian Etheridge, one of the great partners, watching from work today. Couldn't get away, but maybe we see him Saturday. Thank you, all of you. Some who drove in from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Some who came in from Waco. Some who came in from all sorts of areas around Dallas and Fort Worth. I'm David Smoak. Baylor in North Carolina Saturday. Sick of 365 Radio and 365 Sports. Thank you.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI,